me, those are the three guys that are the most deserving.
Yeah, 32 points in 38 games from Morgan Rielly this year. I know you said you don't wade into Leafs Twitter too much. Well, I have been, and a lot of people are making the point that when you vote for Morgan Rielly, if you spell his last name wrong, which is very easy to do, the vote doesn't count. So there's been like a campaign to spell Morgan Rielly's last name correctly. So if you're listening and you can still vote today, it's Rielly. So that might help because he was right on the cusp, I think. So you make a great point there, Josh. We'll let you go. Appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. Enjoy the game, and we'll chat soon.
Anytime. Take care, guys.
Thanks so much. Joshua Cloak of The Athletic. Yeah, the votes were really close. Marner, Nylander, and Tavares on the outside looking in are like in the mix. Obviously,
last time we checked, right?
Nylander was definitely the top voter at that point. Yeah. But we haven't got an updated one in 2 days. So if you're voting Morgan Rielly, I before E. Morgan Rielly.
Imagine if the unconventional Rielly is what cost Morgan Rielly.
It 100% is.
It probably could.
If you typed in NHL All-Star vote and then typed in Morgan Rielly in the search bar, spelled incorrectly, there's thousands of tweets with the incorrect Morgan Rielly.
NHL should do.
They should be able to
right
combine
by Morgan
them.
Rielly and include all the ones that start with E.
Well, last year Ryan O'Reilly, he spelled his Riley part different than anyway. We don't need to get into it. Just spell it right and cast your vote if you want Morgan Rielly there.
It's a big challenge for Josh Cloak and his copy getting those two Rileys right.
It is. Let's play Ilia Samsonov's audio clip from today because then we can wrap this up in a bow because he'll be on the ice tonight, warming up and then on the bench, but. We hadn't heard from Ilia Samsonov in almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty close to.
So this is what he had to say today to the media about being back in the lineup and how difficult this last stretch was.
I don't want to talk about this a lot. I feel really positive. I'm stay positive all the time. I stick working. I'm trying to do my best, and I'm just ready with everything, and I'm just wait sometime what time I will have a chance to play. You said, and but it's probably nice signal for your brain and your body. Man, wake up and you need to back on track and working hard as you can.
Yeah, get back on track and work as hard as you can. Like he hit the lowest of low. Like he was demoted to the Toronto Marlies. There was other than them selling them off for free. I don't know what's really lower than that, right? So maybe this was the rock bottom that hadn't previously been hit. He had never been demoted to the AHL before. You just have to hope that was the refresh that Ilia Samsonov needs. And I love that he said he doesn't want to talk about it because neither do I.
To me, this is just like a big we'll see because like in my mind, it's like, okay, if someone's feeling that bad about what they do professionally or that bad about what's going on in a certain segment of their life, like just a week of meetings and distance from team members or family member, whatever it is, right? Like it just feels like a week is very hopeful when thinking about the rehabilitation of someone's mind, just in general. Like that just feels like something that needs a little bit more time to deal with. And again, that's making an assumption that he's being tormented from, mentally or whatever, right? Like we're all just making assumptions and thinking we know what exactly is going on. All we really know is this is a goaltender who is not given the Maple Leafs performances that are worthy of an NHL standard. Like not, hey, you didn't have it tonight, here's the hook, or it's been a bad week. It's like, no, we can't put you out there anymore because we are just giving away the opportunity to win. And if it just happens again, then is that further than rock bottom? Like, I just don't know at this point. I think it's a massive gamble putting him in the net. I think they're going to be as resistant as possible to doing that. And I do think eventually he's not going to be on this team because there's going to be a solution. I just think it's really, really exceedingly hopeful that he's just going to snap his fingers and be okay and play even respectable backup minutes for this team. But we'll see if he gets that opportunity, and there's a really good chance that he doesn't get that opportunity because it'll be Hildeby or it'll be a trade or something else will come to fruition before Joseph Woll comes back and pinches him out of the situation altogether anyway.
The Maple Leafs couldn't afford to give him any, chances over the last stretch. They really needed to go on. and get some big wins on the West Coast, and they did that behind Martin Jones. The schedule gets harder. We have seen that they got a little bit of an easier start. They're going to play much harder teams, much tougher competition,
and a condensed schedule. I think that's the most important thing. There's just a lot of games coming up.
They start a stretch tonight where they play playoff teams in 8 of the next 11 games, including 2 against the league-leading Jets and 1 against the Oilers, Canucks, and Stars. So that is time to put your money where your mouth is. If this team is going to go all in at the trade deadline, here's a great stretch to see what really needs to work. And if that's Martin Jones being a star, well, that's great. But they couldn't afford to, lose a couple in San Jose and Anaheim because they're giving Ilia Samsonov a chance to rehabilitate where he's at. So I think they did the right thing, the hard thing maybe, with one of their goaltenders. But Martin Jones has proven to be steady, and we're going to see him again tonight on Long Island with the Maple Leafs against the Islanders. On the other side of the break, we will give you the lineup for tonight. Nothing too shocking. Looks like Matthew Nyes avoided a little bit of an injury concern that we saw in practice yesterday. He is starting on the top line, so he should be all set. We will take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll get you ready for Puck Drop. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Sometimes a smile isn't a smile. Sometimes it's a shield that hides the struggle. For some who have served in the Canadian Armed Forces or RCMP, mental health challenges can take on many faces. If you're struggling, there is support for you and your family. Visit veterans.gc.ca/mental health or call 1-866-522-2122. A message from the Government of Canada.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Unhibernate. A verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91.
And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91.
And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at of all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Of Ontario.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
I think the biggest thing for us is just it's going to be a different type of game than we've played here of late. Different type of opponent, different type of challenge. And we've talked about that. I believe we're prepared for that. It might take us a little bit to recalibrate a little bit, but those are the things that we're focused on today.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for your pregame, your intermissions, and for a good time. The Leafs on the road to face the Islanders on a 4-game winning streak after a pretty great West Coast road trip. You couldn't ask for much else. And that little home and home with the Sharks to wrap up seeing those guys for a while. Thank goodness. But they're playing an Islanders team on Long Island, which always poses a little bit of a threat. It's a difficult game for the Maple Leafs. They're not always rolling in there and winning. Last time out, John Tavares got his 1,000th point, but they lost in overtime. And that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, it's always a challenge going to Long Island for the Maple Leafs, really for any team, because this is an organized group that plays well defensively, structured, always have good goaltending. The Islanders are still the Islanders, so it's going to be a difficult task. And, of course, John Tavares will be front and center. But I think the biggest task might be just like getting back up to speed. It's been, a week and a half since the Maple Leafs have played like a really, truly, in our heart of hearts, competitive hockey game. With all due respect to Anaheim, who they rolled over. I know it was difficult, but the Maple Leafs were so far and ahead, the better team. And then 2 games back-to-back against San Jose, home and away. It just feels like real, legitimate NHL competition is something that we haven't seen in a while. And we know the New York Islanders will provide that.
Yeah, they got the Islanders tonight, then a back-to-back at home against the Colorado Avalanche and the Detroit Red Wings. And then they got the Oilers, the Flames, and the Canucks, who are top of the NHL. A bunch of these difficult games are to come. You mentioned John Tavares will be, always center stage when he comes back home to the island, and that's why he's our player to watch. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Just a simple one tonight. John Tavares got that goal in the dying seconds of the third period for his 1,000th point and to push the Leafs to overtime against the Islanders last time out. Let's just have him for an anytime goal tonight. Is plus 145.
And I know you love playing the first goal props, so we'll just add that in.
Sure, a little.
Plus 850 to score first. John Tavares waited till the final seconds last time out to get that 1,000th point, at least in regulation. Maybe he just gets off the schneid early tonight. So plus 850, maybe a little segment of that bet. But you're right. To score plus 145, John Tavares, Long Island, it feels right.
All right, let's take a look at where he's slotted in the lineups tonight for your Maple Leafs. Matthews and Marner all on the top line. As we said before we took a break, Nyes looked like he twisted his knee in practice, but he's ready to rumble on the top line with Matthews and Marner. Bertuzzi, Tavares, and Nylander. Holmberg, Domi, Yarncroke, McMahon, Kampf, and Gregor are your forwards. And on defense, Rielly and Brody, Benoit and McCabe and Giordano and Liljegren. And of course, Martin Jones getting another start, his 6th in a row. And Ilia Samsonov, however, back in the fold on the bench, backing up tonight.
Yeah, the guy wearing the ball cap really is the story. I mean, you could focus in on Nick Robertson being scratched again or look elsewhere up and down the lineup. But Martin Jones getting the start, Ilia Samsonov being back but not being in action, that's what everyone's going to have their eyes on. And again, the big story here, the big question hovering over this group is, will Ilia Samsonov get another opportunity? And if so, when? I don't know what the answer to that question is. I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that question because something else might happen before we get to that point. But I think it's the elephant in the room right now. Ilia Samsonov, and he'll be on the bench tonight, so it should not affect the play. But Ilia Samsonov is definitely the story here and will remain the story until he either gets a start, plays well, doesn't play well at all, gets traded, someone else comes up, Dennis Hildeby gets a start. I'm not sure how this is all going to work out. But Ilia Samsonov back with the group is definitely the story of the day.
Last time he was out was December 29th, that fateful night against the Columbus Blue Jackets where he let in 6 goals and was, I think, pulled from that one, right? Or was that the one that he ended up playing the full? Who knows anymore? Like, they were just all kind of bad, to be honest, unfortunately.
When
folks.
You're routinely giving up 6+, it just kind of blurs together. Right?
It does blur together. 15 games played this year, 5 wins, and a 394 goals against average and an 862 save percentage. But he's not starting tonight, so let's not focus anymore on Ilia Samsonov. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the first period after the break. Maple Leafs and the New York Islanders. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The NFL playoffs are here, and teams have their sights set on Super Bowl 58.
Mahomes, back of the end zone, touchdown!
Right along with NFL radio leading up to Super Wildcard Weekend, as their panel of experts discusses the matchups and all the coaching news around the league.
That Chargers head coach opening is desirable because of Justin Herbert.
Catch exclusive coverage of the NFL playoffs on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Rielly and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Leafs Radio Network.
Long Island as the Maple Leafs tangle with the Islanders this evening at UBS Arena. And the operators of the oblonged onion bags tonight is brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards. I'm not really sure what a bollard is. I got to look that up. I'm not positive. No, anyway, adamant, because security can only be measured by what will save you. And it is Martin Jones as he starts with trying to win his 5th straight game. He's 8-3-0 with a 1.98 goals against average and a 9.34 save percentage. He's 4-5-0 lifetime against the Islanders. Ilya Sorokin, 12-8-8, 3.20, 908 save percentage, is 3-3-0 lifetime against the Leafs, who defend the goal to the right, Islanders to the left. And we have got a bit of a delay here as the official gets them ready. And the puck is dropped. We're underway as it's played down to the blue line, and the Islanders will lay it back into the Toronto zone, and a quick offside is registered. And so it'll come back to center ice, and we introduce, of course, a longtime partner here, James Q. Ralph Esquire.
I feel like I should coming out from behind a curtain on the Tonight Show now.
Well, I've thought about putting you behind a curtain a number of times. Fired in wide of the Leaf goal. Back of the net, Rielly gets it up on the wing. Matthew Nyes back into the action after looking like he might have had a serious injury at practice yesterday. Here's Matthews coming out of the corner, got a shot away, and that went off the shin pad of Noah Dobson in front of the net. And a tripping call is coming here to Matthews, I believe, as he takes down Matt Martin.
Matthews was tripped just seconds before that. Before he turned, he had been tripped, lost the puck, and then to get it back up. Watch it again. He's trying to spin away from his man. Yeah, I mean, it is accidental, but Romanov, I think, was the one that tripped him up, and then Matthews takes down his old teammate Matt Martin, and the Islanders will go to the first power play of the night.
Draw to the right in the Toronto zone. Played back to the point. Walking the line with it now is Rielly trying to get a shot. A rebound. They score. Kyle Palmieri at the side of the net was able to scoop it in behind Jones, and just 40 seconds into this one, on a bit of a controversial call on the power play, it's 1-0 Islanders.
Islanders 3 for 9 in their last 3 games, and the power play coming in, and this is very simple. Throw it to the net. And I don't know if Palmieri gets a piece of this, Joe, on the deflection before it got to Martin Jones, but Jones was...
Did it go off his mask?
Jared Jones was moving towards his right, and the puck, the rebound, bounced to his left. So that was very easy tap in.
Yeah, I think it, we get another look at this, Jimmy. I think it went off his mask and caromed. Instead of going right, it went left. And now an icing call here against the Islanders. It'll be brought back for Palmieri. That is goal number 10 on the season and the 5th by way of the power play. It comes 40 seconds into the match.
For Palmieri, that's his first goal in 13 games now. After having a pretty good stretch before that, where he scored 6 in his previous 12.
Draw scrummed, and the booing continues on Long Island after John Tavares handled the puck. It's brought in on the right wing side now, and a shot deflects wide. Another pass in front of the Leaf goal, comes back to the point, and a drive is gloved this time by Jones, and he will hold on for a face-off coming off the stick of Adam Pelech, and it'll be brought into the circle to the right of Jones.
Leafs were able to score opening goals in their back-to-back games against the San Jose Sharks. The only time they trailed. Oh, no, you know what, Joe? I don't think this hits anything. It looks like it just hits the inside of Martin Jones' blocker.
Yeah, you're right.
And he might have just mistimed it a little bit. Where instead of blockering it off to his right, it just caught the inside of the blocker and kicked the other way.
David.
But other than, I was going to say, other than the game in Anaheim, the Leafs have played with the lead for the most part.
And a wrist shot goes wide of the Leaf goal, chipped along the boards then by McMahon. He'll get it out at center, but the Islanders shoot it right back into the Toronto zone. Into the corner goes Barzal after it. He comes out of it, get it back to the point, shot in traffic, knocked down in front of the net. No one seemed to know where it went as it went high in the air and into the corner. It was almost reminiscent of the goal the other night that went over everybody's head. No one knew where it was and drops over the goaltender's shoulder as a shot from the angle here by Gregor is handled by Sorokin and stops play.
Yeah, that might have been San Jose earlier in the season. Point shot that went about 50 feet up in the air and landed in the net.
Noah Gregor, who was absent the other night with a bit of the influenza going around, is back into the action here this evening. And he has really been quite a revelation as far as the Leafs, and just a great story. He and Benoit, and I guess Martin Jones, you think about the additions that were made to this team and how important they have been as a shot deflects in front of the Leaf goal and is pushed to the near wing. Yarncrook unable to get to it as it's into the corner, centering pass, knocked into the corner then by Brody, and now the Leafs are able to break it out, and it is Domi skating to center. He's going to rifle it in from center ice. Down the boards goes Pontus Holmberg to get it into the corner. Holmberg ties it up, got it back of the net for Domi. Domi working in front of the goal, but it was intercepted by Dobson, and Noah Dobson gets it out at center, and it is flipped down into the Toronto end. Liljegren will go back. Timothy Liljegren starting out, being forced wide by Pajot. Has to carry back deeper into his own zone, flips it back at the net, and it is played up on the wing then by Giordano, and the Leafs play it in over the line, but the Islanders have it under control again. Scott Mayfield goes D to D, and it's wired in by Pelech, and around the boards it'll go to the far side, cut off and sent towards the net, but off a stick into the screen, and out of play to stop play as we are about 2 minutes and 57 seconds into the match, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Islanders. Palmieri from Dobson and Barzal scoring play.
Two teams trending in opposite directions. The Islanders 1-3-1 in their last 5. The Leafs have their second 4-game winning streak of the season. That is a season high, so they look to extend that. Islanders, by the way, lead the league in overtime losses.
Mayfield shot deflects off a face-off win up into the screen.
That is kind of scary when you look at the Islanders lead the league in overtime losses, which is 10, and they're in the hunt for a playoff spot. We talked about Calgary and Brad Treliving's Flames last year. 18 overtime losses, and you missed the playoffs by, 4 or 5 points? So as much as we talk about how great it is to get a point, the loser point, sometimes those ones you leave on the table in overtime and shootouts come back to haunt you big time.
Draw one by the Islanders. A shot blocked. It rolls in front of the net. Tipped ahead by Marner to Nyes. And Nyes comes through center ice and one hands it down into the far corner. He'll go into the corner against Mayfield with a hit there. The puck comes up on the wing. Nyes is third in the Leafs team in hits thus far this season. He has been a physical force as the Leafs come back into their own zone. And it is Benoit getting it ahead and now brought to center ice by Matthews to Nyes. Nyes across the line. He was leveled there on a good hit by Scott Mayfield. Nashville leads the NHL with 911 hits. The Islanders are next at 789. Maple Leafs are 8th at 750. Here's the Islanders in across the line. Odd man rush and a shot. Went wide of the goal on the short side. Kept in by Dobson at the near point. Bertuzzi couldn't come up with it. Puck comes free, and now here is Tavares getting it ahead for Nylander. Back for Tavares. One man back. Tavares with a backhand try. And that was stopped by Sorokin. Good play by Nylander to set in the captain. Islanders back in their own zone. Dobson plays to an open wing. That'll force Romanov back after it. Dobson gets his pass, sends it out at center. Brought in over the line now by Holmstrom of the Islanders. In around back of the net for Pierre Engvall. Tried to center. That didn't work, and it's going to be launched high into the center ice area, forcing Mike Rielly back into the Islander zone. Long lean pass goes down into the Toronto end. Cleared back of the net by Jones, but mishandling that was defenseman Liljegren on the near side. McMahon got it freed up, but it is stolen back by the Islanders. Fashing trying to get it in front of the net. That didn't work. Liljegren against the boards, gets it out and down the ice, but icing will be waved off because McMahon's gotten to the puck first. McMahon for the Leafs to Noah Gregor, who was knocked down. McMahon bulling his way around back of the net, centers it in front of the goal, and Gregor couldn't get his stick on it the last second in traffic. Played off a skate down the ice, and an icing charge coming here against the Islanders to bring it back into New York territory.
I think we're going to need to do it, but we'll let listeners know when John Tavares is on the ice.
No, we're fine. Enough's enough. You know, enough's enough. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Face off.
I mean, I'm sure throughout sports there's similar situations on players that have left on their own and they're not welcome back.
Well, I mean, they used to boo Bobby Orr all the time at the Gardens. He never played in Toronto.
They booed everybody at the Gardens. Didn't play for Toronto. Winnipeg has sort of picked up that
they have.
tradition of booing the top player on the opposing team.
And Montreal does it too. Islanders get the puck to center ice. They lead 1-0. Here's Rielly coming in across the line, left wing side. Pontus Holmberg goes wide, takes it around back of the net. Tried to stop up in the corner, took his man down. That's drawing a crowd over on the far side. Holmberg is without a stick because it got snapped in the exchange. And it's back out at center ice for Morgan Rielly. Plays it to the line and in. Trying to work along the boards there was Yarncrook. Got an assist there from Domi, but it is poked out at center ice now by the Islanders. Domi brings it back in. Couldn't make it way around the defenseman, and Mayfield will play it down into the Toronto zone. Matthews in front of his own goal. Got it ahead. Nyes with Benoit, who carries in over the line. Drops it back to Nyes. Sharp angle try. Blocked in front of the net, and it was knocked wide of the goal by Marner in front. Now comes to Matthews. Oh, he was right in position A, and he set it wide. May have gone off a body. Marner getting it back to the point. Walking in with a pass on the near side. Benoit with a shot, sharp angle. That was stopped by Sorokin. Leafs buzzing around here. Round back of the net for Matthews. He can't come up with it, and it is Pelech getting it freed up now for the Islanders, who will start out. Pelech plays it off the glass down into the Toronto zone. Boy, Matthews was right in position A, wasn't he?
You're right. I think I might have glanced off something. He was about 15 feet in front of the Islander net, right between the hash marks.
Played up on the wing now for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi finds Tavares. Tavares working in over the line. Slides in there where the broken stick is in the way. Has it in his skates. Cleared back into the corner. Nylander with it now. Playing it around back of the net. And it's picked off there by Noah Dobson. And the Islanders will get it out. New York leads 1-0 on a power play goal 40 seconds into the match. Out comes Tavares with it again. Up ahead for Bertuzzi. He's across the line, left wing side, trying to slide into the corner. Tempted to center, but it was off a skate. And Barzal starts back up ice now for the Islanders. 12:20 left to play in the period. Leafs break up the rush and then give the puck away. In on goal, a stop, another pass in front. Big save made by Jones. And the rebound is flipped ahead. Oh, my. That was a little bit of Alphonse and Gaston. The old joke, you take it, I've got it. And turned out the Islanders got a glorious opportunity.
Those are the plays the Leafs have really been able to eliminate the last 4 or 5 games, but we've seen a couple of miscommunications or mis-executions on some opportunities in their own end to clear it out.
Played along the boards near side. Camp sends it around into the corner far side. Noah Gregor couldn't get there in time. It bounces out in front, but no one there. And the Islanders are able to break it out, and Engvall steers it down in over the line. The former Leaf pulls up, got it back into the slot. That was misplayed. The Leafs unable to get it out. Back into the corner it goes. Centering pass back to the point. Long shot went wide of the net. Bashing into the far corner. Dropping it off there for Brock Nelson. Nelson back to the blue line. Pelech into the near corner. Mayfield goes around back of the net with it. Trying to work out in front. Still with it. Still with it. Turns. Far boards. Now lets it go towards the net. It's blocked. And the Leafs fail to get it out. Pelech keeping it alive. Drop pass goes to Engvall. Engvall dropping it off again. Good cycling job done here with a long shot. That may have caromed off the post. Another point shot. Drifts wide. Bouncing puck. Finally onto a stick of a Maple Leaf. And it is carried by Pontus Holmberg into neutral ice. And he's going to try and get it down into the Islander zone before being taken down. And both teams are changing. Lee got it ahead. The Islanders back into the attack. They have 6 shots on goal. The Leafs 5. And the best scoring chance the Leafs had was Austin Matthews, who did not get the shot to the net. Now here's centering. Pass in front. Good save by Jones with the right pad. The puck goes down into the corner and back of the net. Chipped along for Bo Horvat. Back to the point. Far side for Rielly. Mike Rielly sends it towards the net. And it's back to the point again. And Rielly tries it again. Another good save made by Jones. We still don't get the puck out. Back to the blue line. And then finally off the stick of Yarncrook. And it's deflected down into the Islander zone. But the Islanders have been the more aggressive team here in the first period. And are full marks for their 1-0 lead. In on the right side for Pajot. Broken up by Nyes. Nyes finds Matthews on the left wing. He'll carry to center. Misses a hit from Pajot. Goes into the try to forecheck then. And Nyes unable to keep it in. Launched high and down into the Toronto end. Brody. Around back of the net. It comes to the near side to Rielly. Quickly ahead and played off to Matthews. Matthews' feed for Rielly was behind him. That allows Nelson to come in. Got it around back of the net. Palmieri after it there. And it comes back to Barzal in front with a shot. And that went wide of the goal. McCabe got it ahead for Marner. Marner sends it rink wide. And Brody, taking his time to come to center, flips it in. Matthews is going to go into the forecheck after it. And the Islanders come away with it. Barzal forced back into his own zone by the aggressive checking there of Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi stands his man up. Islanders are able to punch it out at center ice. And Nylander is able to secure it, but couldn't find Benoit with it. Benoit around back of the net, playing it up on the wing, and the Leafs have some time and space, and Benoit gets a return pass and then shoots it into Islander territory. Adam Pelech gave the puck away. Nylander in the far corner. One hands it back to the point. Sent in wide of the net. Bertuzzi taken to the boards. Tavares couldn't come up with it. And it is Brock Nelson getting it out. Islanders working in over the line. Long shot blocked before it reached the goal. Leafs counter, and a pass comes ahead, and now Liljegren on the wing for Nylander into the spot for Bertuzzi. A shot, another shot, blockered into the corner. It was first blocked by sliding Adam Pelech, the defenseman. I think Sorokin may have got a glove on the second opportunity. Pelech back of the net. Played out into the center ice area. Other than Matthews, that's probably the Leafs' best scoring chance, isn't it? Pass in front of the net there for McMahon was deflected wide. Now Gregor back to the blue line, fed over on the near side. Rielly looks for a man in front, but his shot caromed off the skate of Romanov and went wide. Leafs get it again in the slot. On the wing, a shot, scores! McMahon from really Austin Matthews' spot. Fires it into the empty net, and the Maple Leafs have tied the game at ones.
Boy, and this is a sniper's goal on the one-timer. I believe it was T.J. Brody that found McMahon off to the left of Sorokin. And you're right, Austin Matthews territory, but where you give McMahon credit is he gives the passer the target. And pardon me, it was Noah Gregor, 18, not 78, that found McMahon in the circle to his right. So the right wing circle, but McMahon, as soon as Gregor gets it, Joe, in the high slot, McMahon peels away and then turns to give him a perfect target to hit. And Gregor put it there, and McMahon one-times it past Sorokin to tie this game at 1 on the 7th shot on goal for the Leafs.
So the fourth line chipping in, second goal of the season for McMahon.
And second of his career. We remember this game last year in Detroit where he had a goal called back.
Puck at the side of the goal, comes in front, and Domi couldn't get it. The Leafs get it back to the point, and a shot to the side of the goal is blocked. Yarncrook looking for a loose puck that might materialize in front, but it doesn't, and it's played down into the Toronto end. Game tied 1-1. Domi gets it out, and with some skating room on the right wing, will get to the zone. Tried to flip it in, was tackled. No call there, and the Leafs are back out into neutral ice after a loose puck. Go ahead, Jim.
You wouldn't know it from the setup, but that's only the third assist for Noah Gregor this year.
Left wing side for Nyes. Into the slot area. Matthews couldn't come up with it. And a whistle behind the play. Is there a penalty
coming up here?
Well, we'll sort it out when we get back because we're going to a commercial break and we can't see it. At any rate, you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Carrie Underwood brings you a brand new way to work out. Just in time for your New Year's resolution. It's not just cardio, it's cardio.
A playlist that gets you ready to work out, gets you in the zone. I like stuff that I can either dance to or that I can get mad with.
High energy tracks you can sweat to. Plus, fitness tips from Carrie and her trainer. Cardio by Carrie's Country. Now in the Sirius XM app. Free with all trials and popular plans.
The Power Play with Steve Coulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Network. First period is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
It's going to be a hook against Matt Martin, who latched on to Austin Matthews before the lead forward could get the puck on a stick in the slot. The first commercial break, too, I think we've had tonight. We're running a little late.
All right. I'm having trouble trying to just know names and scores. If you're going to count how many commercials we've gotten in.
If it helps, I can keep track of the score for you.
That'd be great. Would you mind?
Okay,
it's not taking you too much out of your way.
Give me a second here.
It is fairly important. Draw one by the Leafs. Fed back to the blue line. Nylander makes a move with it to get it over on the wing to Matthews. Back to Willie. Nylander closes. Send it back to the blue line. No one there. And now Matthews has got to get on his horse. Make sure that the penalty killer Holmstrom wasn't breaking. And they better be cautious about him because he's got 5 shorthanded goals. Leafs coming through center ice. And across the line. Broken up. Backhanded down the ice by the Islanders. New York's penalty kill is 29th. But when you add the fact that they have 8 shorthanded goals, I think you've got to kind of take that into some kind of consideration as to where they would rank. Brought on by Matthews. And as he tried to play it in, it ends up going off the stick and into the bench.
You think they might have to work a little bit on their defense on the penalty kill? The offense is
working fine. Yep.
The Islanders were 4 for 4. The Islanders have back-to-back losses, 5-2 losses in Vegas and home to Vancouver. And against the Canucks on home ice, they were 4 for 4 in the penalty kill, but just 4 for 8 in the 3 games before that.
Leafs are 31 of 115 for 27%, sixth best percentage in the National Hockey League on the power play. Minute 8 to go in it. Second unit on the ice for Toronto. And it looks like Domi has been dispatched. And so Yarncrook will move in, and Domi settles back into the defensive position on the blue line. And the draw is won by the Islanders. They go around back of the net, wind it up, and wire it off the boards and down the ice. And Jones was unable to stop that, as the Leafs have to go back now to restore order and now try to bring that power play out. Giordano playing it back into his own zone. Brought on by Calle Yarncrook. He drops it off for Domi. Got it in on the wing. Played back to Max along the boards. Pushed into the corner for Yarncrook. He stops up. Works back into the far corner. Back on the boards for Domi, but his pass back to the blue line was intercepted. And the Islanders are bringing it back in with a long shoot in on Jones. And the rebound that is finally corralled. And the Leafs will start back up ice with it. 23 seconds left in the power play. Domi hits the line on the wing, got a return pass, but out of his reach, grabbed off there by Noah Dobson, and it's an easy clear. And this power play has been rather ineffectual.
It might rank up there as one of the most ineffective they've had this season.
Pass to the right wing side, and now here's Noah Gregor working back towards the blue line, sends it towards the net, and that got through. Penalty is over, and Sorokin is called upon to make his first save in the last 2 minutes and change. And so there'll be a face-off coming here in the Islander zone. 1-1 is our score. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Take 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day, Think 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
A 1-1 tie. Palmieri for the Islanders on the power play, and Bobby McMahon from Gregor and Brody at 12:39 to tie the game. Ilia Samsonov is the backup goaltender. Not sure when he will be in order to play again, although the Leafs do play back-to-back Saturday, Sunday at home. Detroit here on Sunday and Colorado here on Saturday.
Well, my feeling on it, if he's here, if he's fresh, you can't protect him forever. You've got to assume, you know what, if it's back-to-back games, and you would usually play two goaltenders in the back-to-back games. If he is, in fact, there, if Hildeby's not recalled, then you got to play him.
Yep.
I mean, you can't hide him or try to ease him back into the lineup. Unfortunately, professional sports doesn't really work that way.
Speaking of Hildeby, he and Alex Steeves will represent the Marlies at the American Hockey League All-Star Game. So,
Kiefer Bellows,
kudos there.
Whole season, the Marlies so far, Kiefer Bellows might be in that mix as well.
pass back into the slot. Here's Rielly sending it wide of the goal. It bounces to the side of the net. No one could get a stick on it, but Camp has carried it back of the net. Still with it, puts the brakes on. Maybe someone should have thought about the Michigan there. Shot from an angle then taken by Rielly, didn't connect. He tries to keep the puck in once more, but the Islanders are going to get it out. Brock Nelson gets it ahead for Engvall. Dropping for Nelson. Nelson pulls up. Got a pass into the slot area. I think that went off the seat of the pants of Noah Gregor in front of the net. Now Matthews has bulled his way down into the zone. Couldn't get it around one defender. It comes back to the point. Kept alive by the Maple Leafs. And then Marner's pass was out of the reach of McCabe, who will hustle back into his own zone. 3 minutes left to play here in the first period. Game tied 1-1. Played by Nyes back into the Islander zone. Chipped along the boards by Adam Pelech, but cut off by the Leafs. Nyes unable to get to it, and then a rolling puck in front was out of the reach of Marner. And Pelech will try it once more with a lead pass at center that is going to go the length of the ice. Icing waved off, apparently, as it's rattled around the boards by the Leafs. And Marner starts away. Tavares over the boards to join the rush. And the drop pass for him didn't work. Marner comes away with the loose puck, though. Down low and around back of the net. Nyes getting it back to the blue line. To the near side for Giordano. Giordano to Marner. Back to Gio. Gio with a shot in traffic. And Tavares may have had that go off his body and go wide of the net. As it's cleared out at center ice now by the Islanders. Nylander wheeling right back in again. Left wing side, Gio back in on a deflection for Nylander and a good pad save by Ilia Samsonov. Back down into the Leaf zone and an icing call coming here. Great chance there for Nylander.
I think if you're the Islanders, you think, okay, finally, we've got Matthews and Marner off the ice. Oh, no. It's Nylander that picks the puck up at center. The Islanders were trying to get a change in, and all of a sudden you've got Nylander full speed, dancing between three Islanders. And then the little give and go with Giordano, and really Nylander with the redirection. And Sorokin made a great stop, getting his left pad on.
Great pass by Giordano, too. Draw one by the Leafs and a point shot off a skate wide. A centering effort by Rielly went around the boards to the far wing. And the Islanders are breaking it out at center and shooting it into the Toronto zone. Jones to Brody to Tavares. Up on the wing and rink wide it comes to the left wing side off the skate of Morgan Rielly. Tavares was able to keep it in along the boards, and then it's poked out at center ice, and it'll force Nylander back to recover it. Here's Nylander to center. Plays it down in on the right wing boards. Goes in after it along with Bertuzzi, who was knocked down on the play. And out come the Islanders now with 1:24 to go in the period and a 1-1 score. Long shot off the stick of Benoit is going up into the screen and out of play. And you were absolutely bang on about the commercial situation. I can't be more proud of you for paying attention this much.
And I'm almost finished counting the attendance.
Oh, good. So that'll be the next. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans. This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray. Special guest, Lamar Jackson.
Did you have that chip on your shoulder still?
I definitely do still have that chip on my shoulder. I don't think I have accomplished what I wanted to yet, so that's why that chip is still on my shoulder. I want that Super Bowl. You know, I've been chasing that for a long time.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Leafs Radio Network.
Joe Vaughn and Jim Ralph back with you. Arwen Zagarian and Austin Mackey pushing all of the right buttons, trying to keep us on the air, and Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way during our first period intermission, a minute 18 away. As Domi gets the puck out at center ice, played back down into the Toronto zone. McCabe steps around the net, finds Benoit. Benoit gets it ahead and will knife it on a bounce down in on goal. And Sorokin will cover up on it and bring a face-off in the Islander zone.
Like how Yarncroc could have done the little snowplow there right in front of Ilia Sorokin, which sure would have got some attention on the ice from the likes of Scott Mayfield and Adam Pellick.
.104 left to go in the first period. Draw one by the Leafs. Dropped off for Giordano. Steps around the official. Got it in front of the net. Just kept it at the blue line then, and a shot is stopped by Sorokin. And he is able to get a glove on top of it as Liljegren got the puck to the net. 11 shots apiece after the Islanders certainly controlled the better part of the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game.
A little interesting combination here late in the period as Austin Matthews is out with Domi and Yarncroc, so replacing Holmberg on this line.
Played around the boards to the far side. Chip to the blue line, and the Islanders will play to an open wing, and the defenseman moves up, and it's fired into the Leaf end. Bouncing puck in around back of the goal. Clutterbuck after it as it comes free. Clutterbuck twisting and turning, tried to center. Nicely blocked there by the Leafs in front with Matthews. It comes back to the point. Scott Mayfield in on the right side. Took a shot from an angle. That was blocked. Then the Yarncroc failed to get it out. Kept alive here for the Islanders with a long shot. That goes high and wide of the goal, and the Leafs come away with it. Played out at center ice, just out. And Yarncroc will play it back. The Leafs are going to change for the final 13 seconds in the period. Nylander coming through neutral ice. Tried to play it in for Morgan Rielly. Rielly tried to slide it towards the net. That goes down into the corner. He'll get one chance again. Got a shot for the top corner and a good blocker save made by Sorokin. As the Leafs did get at least an opportunity at the close of the period. But it is going to be a 1-1 tie that the teams take to the dressing room.
Really was a period that was split, wasn't it? But the New York Islanders really seemed to dominate the first half. It took them a while for the Leafs to get going. I know there were conversations with Sheldon Keefe before the game saying it might take us a while to get calibrated for this opponent, and he was bang on. It was first 10 or 12 minutes, all the New York Islanders before the Leafs were able to bounce back.
Shots are 13-12 in favor of Toronto. The goal scorers, Palmieri on the power play, McMahon for the Maple Leafs from Gregor and Brody midway through the period. We'll step aside with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hi, it's Billy Joel here.
Because you had to be a big
It's back.
shot.
All my music on my very own channel, the Billy Joel channel.
Bill. Now for a limited time on Channel 79 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are.
The Power Play with Steve Coulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Line. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 hockey talk. His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91.
And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, no coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, how would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Leafs Radio Network.
Karened off the skates of Romanov and went wide. Leafs get it again in the slot. On the wing, a shot scores! McMahon from Rielly, Austin Matthews spot. Fires it into the empty net, and the Maple Leafs have tied the game at 1.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs and Islanders tied 1-1 after 20 minutes. Bobby McMatthews, maybe. Oh, I might have just coined something new.
I like that.
Bobby McMatthews.
That was a Matthews-like finish for Bobby McMatthews. There's like a certain ring to that.
You could have it, Joe, if you're listening.
Fully on board with that. Broke up a bit of a sleepy start, I thought, from the Maple Leafs. So good that they were able to get that little energy, little shot of life from your fourth line. Because it wasn't the prettiest period by any means for the Maple Leafs. We were talking a little bit about how it might be difficult to get back up to speed after a long road trip and kind of a layup against San Jose the other night. Real hockey, well, the New York Islanders can provide it, and I think they did land the first blow clearly with Palmieri, and it took a while for the Leafs to get in there, but I think by the end of the period, they started looking like the Leafs that we're accustomed to.
Yeah, I guess we kind of expected I don't know if it's a bit of a lull, but they just came off a pretty long West Coast road trip where they played 3 games, and then they come home and they play a back-to-back with the San Jose Sharks, a home and home, and then they get back on the road after having one day at home. Like they're NHL professional hockey players. They get paid millions of dollars, but just the logistics of all of that it's kind of not trap-like, but it is what expectations did we have for a first period? Well, hopefully a little bit more than that, but they have 20 minutes under their belt. They're pretty lucky, honestly, to be tied 1-1 at this point. Martin Jones, that goal that he did allow, it kind of was a weird bounce. You can't really pinpoint if it was him or if it was off a blocker and then off a leg, but it was a slow, not sloppy, but just low event period for the Maple Leafs. You do expect them to pick it up in the next 40 minutes. I think that they're not going to, go away quietly against the New York Islanders, especially when it's John Tavares' old home. But left you wanting more.
I was a little concerned. I got, excuse me, with that first
emotional
goal.
About it.
Yeah, a little emotional. Still recovering from the Bobby McMatthews. The first goal, the goal, obviously the only goal on Martin Jones there. I mean, puck tracking, I'm no expert in, but when you're tracking it, it hits the blocker and it bounces into a bad area. That might mean you're not necessarily tracking it beautifully. That's maybe something we saw from Ilia Samsonov when it wasn't right. So I thought, this might be the end of Martin Jones, at least in terms of the real hot streak of play. But he steadied into that period. And it was kind of like the Martin Jones we were accustomed to. That wasn't a great rebound, wasn't a great goal to give up. But I thought from that point on, he was really good.
Apparently it's Star Wars night at...
you a Star Wars guy?
Is this UBS Arena they've renamed it or named it?
Yeah.
I can tell you truthfully, and probably going to be some upset people listening, I've never watched Star Wars. I don't care for it.
I think I was forced to watch one of the early ones.
I'm not interested.
Real early on in my life, and I was just like, no, this is never happening again. And then they've made like 30 more movies.
That's the thing. I missed the boat. I missed it. I guess I could get back on board, but I mean... I grew up in the Harry Potter era. I was a part of the Harry Potter fandom. I couldn't have room to be a Star Wars fan, Star Warsite. I don't really know what I'm just... Anyway, it's Star Wars night, and the Maple Leafs...
if that interests you, yes, it's Star Wars night. They're celebrating. We will see if we can work in a pun later, but I guess we'd have to know more about Star Wars.
I'll get you one.
Okay.
I can figure it out. I know what the gist of it is. There's lightsabers and stuff. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll think about if a certain unrestricted free agent floating around could be a good fit for the Maple Leafs. All that and more. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Take 2 in a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 in a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forvar and Justin Cuthbert here for your intermissions. We've upset the Star Wars fans. That's okay. I'm going to do some research. I'll watch one. No problem. No problem, folks.
All you needed was like a couple texts that were slightly negative to
I'm all right.
inspire
I'll do it.
you to actually sit down for 3 hours and watch one of these things.
No problem. No problem at all. All right. So we were just discussing quickly about maybe a potential addition. Corey Perry is a UFA. Obviously, some interesting stuff happened with the Chicago Blackhawks, which we don't know the full extent of.
Yeah, unnamed stuff.
And so now he's available to be signed by anyone in the NHL before the trade deadline or before the March 8th. Yeah, it was March 8th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he could play in the playoffs. So Corey Perry, Maple Leafs, fit, no fit?
I mean, it's like the exact skill set that I think they're still missing in a lot of ways, right? Like I know Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi do some of that, and Simone Benoit is a tough guy. But I think they're still missing some of that, like, real pesky, annoying, snotty, dirty sort of style, right? Like, and I think that's been important. They've seen firsthand that Corey Perry is an effective playoff player. But I guess my question would be, where does he fit in the lineup?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Is he a third-line guy? Because really, if you're filling a spot right now, it's Nick Robertson's third-line left wing. Can he keep up? Can he play with Calle Järnkrok? Can he keep up with Max Domi?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to mess up the chemistry on that fourth line and Bobby McMatthews scoring goals with Noah Gregor and David Kampf. So I'm not sure he's the perfect fit, but his skill set is perfect. And I'm still trying to figure out how to reconcile with all that.
All I'll say is, who's the player you hate most in the playoffs? Probably Corey Perry. So who would be nice for the Maple Leafs to have if that were the opportunity? Probably Corey Perry. Lots that has to go through that, but we'll just wait and see how the chips slide. We do have to do a quick out-of-town scoreboard before we send it back to Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. And our scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
It's a busy night in the NHL. I'm counting 13 games.
Oh boy, get going.
9 of which are ongoing. It is scoreless between the Oilers and Red Wings in the first intermission. Ducks trailing the Hurricanes 2-0 in the first intermission. It's 2-1 the Lightning leading the Devils. 2-1 the Sharks. Slowly Sharks have a lead in Montreal.
That's the first time they've had a 2-0 lead, I think, all season long.
2-1.
Well, they had one,
2-1. Sharks over the Canadians at the moment. The Canucks staying hot, up 3-1 on the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's 1-0. The Kings lead the Panthers. The Kraken have a 2-0 lead over the Capitals. A lot of games in the first intermission right now, including the Leafs and Islanders. 1-1. And currently, end of 1. The Sabres lead the Senators, who just can't get it going. 3-1. 3 more games to come. 4 more games to come tonight. We'll update you on those once those games get underway.
First 2-goal lead for the Sharks in 18 games.
Quickly cut down in half.
Not a lot of stormtroopers on that team.
You did it. Congratulations. You found a way.
Maple Leafs need to find a way. A 1-1 tie after 20 minutes. A bit of a slow start for them, but they're chipping their way through. We're not going to give them too many excuses because they got a big 40 minutes ahead against the Islanders, who are vying for their own playoff position. Maple Leafs got some bigger games on the horizon, but can't count this one out. May the force be with them. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph have the call. It's too much, isn't it?
I think you should continue.
Okay, I'll keep
Do you have one more?
No, that's it. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph have the call. The second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NFL fans, you can hear every game of the NFL playoffs on SiriusXM. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, the Dolphins take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. In your car, you'll find the Miami broadcast on Channel 82 or 226.
Wide open! Tariq Hill touchdown!
The Kansas City feed on Channel 210 or 227.
Mahomes looking right, back of the end zone, caught, touchdown!
And the national broadcast on Channel 88. And with the all-new SiriusXM app, take the game with you wherever you go. Just search Dolphins or Chiefs to find the game.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Line. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland! Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM SC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, how would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
And Jim Ralph back with you as the Maple Leafs and the Islanders are tied 1-1 after a period. Palmieri scoring on the power play just 40 seconds into the match when Austin Matthews was first tripped and then he tripped a Islander player. It was the second infraction that got the call. 31 seconds into it, Palmieri from Dobson and Barzal. And then it was Bobby McMahon scoring just his second goal of the season from Gregor and Brody at 12:39 to tie the game at 1.
Yeah, we talked about the stats for Martin Jones coming into this game. 1.98 goals against, 934 save percentage. And do you know how much better that would be if you took out 4 goals on 15 shots in half a game in Buffalo? I mean, it would be ridiculous. You go by his starts. And Martin Jones' numbers are best of his career.
Leafs to the left and the Islanders to the right as the Leafs get it down into New York territory. Back to the point. Shot in traffic. Bounces off a leg and wide. And the Leafs into the forecheck. Marner tried to get it in front of the backhand. Scores! Matthews! Marner from behind the net. Got it just into the goal crease. And Big Pappy just took it on the forehand. Said, thank you very much. Tucked it to the backhand. And it's 2-1.
But the big play is made by Matthews to take the puck off of Pelech. Pelech has the inside track, hunting down the puck in the corner to the right of Sorokin, the Islander goaltender. Austin Matthews lifts his stick, steals it, and then goes to the front of the net. And when Marner threw it out front, it went off Sorokin. And Austin Matthews picks it up in the blue paint and tucks it around the left pad of the Islander goaltender, and the Leafs have their first lead of the night.
Big Pappy with his 32nd of the season for the Maple Leafs. And for the first time in the game, the Leafs own the lead. And so the teams have struck early in both periods. Islanders 40 seconds in, Leafs 26 seconds in this frame.
Matthews is so good at that, isn't he? Stealing pucks.
His hands and his stick are so good, it is ridiculous. Puck played out at center ice, trying to find Tavares, but intercepted by Bo Horvat. And the Islanders will play it right back down into the Toronto end. Jones laying it into the corner for McCabe. Long lead pass to the blue line. Brought in now by Gregor, and a shot right on. Big rebound, and it was knocked wide. Noah Gregor made a nice move coming off the boards on his forehand. Got a pretty good look. Long shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Brought back now by Toronto. Left wing side and into the zone for McMahon. McMahon sends it to the net. Oh, and that just bounced away from Liljegren, who had jumped into the rush as well. Off the pad and just past the stick of Liljegren. Puck back of the net. Barzal dropping it off, and it's played up on the right wing side. Barzal in across the line. Plays to the left wing. A shot gloved there by Jones as that was going high, maybe over the net, but notwithstanding, pretty good save made by... We'll get another look at it here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, flip the stick and then take the body. But what Matthews does, which is so sneaky, he lets the opposing player go first. You go ahead. You go to play the puck. And when you're about to, I'm going to take it right back.
It wasn't the cleanest selling. He kind of stumbled and did a nose plant going into the corner and quickly recovered to get back up and look more presentable. But it was not the best celly he's had. Islanders bring it back in over the line. Good play by Benoit to stand up his man, Brock Nelson, and force him wide. The puck comes on the wing and steered back into the corner. Engvall gives the puck away, and Yarncrook starts down the left wing and is able to backhand it down into Islander territory as the Leafs are changing. Pontus Holmberg into the forecheck. Stole it. Got it back. Matthews again. Scores! He's done it again. Multiple goal games for Austin Matthews. But what a great steal in the offensive zone to set it up.
Great steal of your Matthews. Bad if you're Noah Dobson. It's Dobson, and again, I mean, this was just on the forecheck. The Leafs were able to pry it away from Dobson, and it's actually Pontus Holmberg, Joe, that interferes just enough for Matthews to come in and pick the puck up, and a little forehand backhand tucked between the legs of Sorokin. And Matthews is the Leafs up 3-1 now. He had an injured Islander player making his way slowly to the bench.
Brought back down into the Islander zone. Punched out at center. Matthews is unable to get it. And once again, Austin Matthews has got multiple goal games working for him. And the pass comes ahead at center ice. Launched onto the boards now for Brody. Brody will send it down in over the line. Nyes couldn't help out. And it's off a stick and down into the Toronto zone. So the Maple Leafs have struck rather quickly here. As Tavares with a shot. Good pad save. Another shot goes wide of the net from Tavares. And the Islanders are going to be able to break it out. Leafs are in the midst of a change. Brought in over the line. Long shot. Juggles at first. Pounced upon by Martin Jones. And there'll be a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. Now they're saying both. At this point, they haven't put up the assists on the...
I don't know if Holmberg's going to get an assist. I think
Marner has to get an assist on the first goal.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Now we're going to have to start asking Armin to look up the fastest back-to-back unassisted goals in a game in Leaf history. So right now, Armin can...
Take the time off. He's okay. Long shot, pad save. Good one made there by Jones. And the puck is brought back out at center ice.
Toronto Maple Leafs' second goal was scored by number 34.
They're just making the announcement on the first Matthews goal. Played back to the blue line. Islanders keeping it in. Dobson works to a centering pass. That went right through the crease and into the near corner. He gets it back again. Working back to the blue line with a shot. That was blocked, I believe, by Bertuzzi, and it cost him a stick as it was... broke the stick, and now a shot. Scores off the wing. Coming in was Alexander Romanov. And the Islanders have narrowed the margin to 3-2.
Now with Bertuzzi without a stick, that opened up the lane from the left point for Romanov to jump down into the left wing circle. And Martin Jones has been very good on these. But this one eludes him, and this is no screen, no traffic in front. Matt Barzal drew Timothy Liljegren towards him and then dropped it back for Romanov, who took it into the left wing circle and snapped it far side over the glove of Martin Jones, and the Islanders have made this a 3-2 game.
Fourth goal of the season for Romanov. And the Leafs lead is back down to 1. And the first time that Martin Jones has given up more than one goal in a hockey game in his last 5. Pass off onto the left wing side, brought out at center ice. Unable to get in over the line. Poked back at center. Down in on the right wing boards comes Brock Nelson. He had it taken away. And the Leafs get it ahead, and Gregor comes through neutral ice. Played in on the left wing. Tried to get it back again, and he got a shot away, but it went off the side of the net and wide. Islanders in their own zone. Send a long lead pass to center. That Brody is there. He sends it back into Islander territory as the Leafs are changing. And now a stolen puck again, and a shot goes high and wide of the goal, taken there by McMahon. It'll carry him all the way back into the Leaf end. Rielly trying to send it back down into the Islander zone. Yarncrook got there to deny icing. The Leafs are now with a centering pass. Stick lifted, but it comes back to the point to Rielly. And his shot has gone off a stick and up into the screen. Out of play with 14:36 to play here in the second period. The Leafs are out in front by a score of 3-2 as Matthews, and they still haven't got the stats guys here in Long Island apparently are not working overtime.
Back to the early 1900s before assists.
Yes.
We're told out. By the way, Noah Gregor, one thing about Noah Gregor, Joe, is he fires the puck from everywhere. Led the Leafs with 2 shots in the first period.
Played down the side of the goal, cut off there by Pajot. Pushed up on the left wing for Holmstrom. He got over on the right wing side. Adam Pelech sends it to the Leaf zone. Good hit there by Brody to dislodge the disc, but it comes free on the far boards. Islanders keeping it alive, trying to cycle the puck now back to the point. Pelech sends it well wide of the Leaf goal. Cutting around from behind the net, though, and gathering it is Palmieri. Sends it off to Pelech on the right point. Pelech with a shot. That was stopped by Jones. Puck is back of the net. Now into an open corner on the left wing side. Pontus Holmberg was slow to react to it, and now here's a chance at the point. Palmieri working in off the right side. Got around Domi. Leafs hemmed in their own end again. Played around the boards and back of the net. And Morgan Rielly makes a nice play to get it off the boards. Brody can't get it out. And now it is just launched high to center ice by the Maple Leafs. And that'll get a change of players going. Pelech got it up on the wing, and it's shot back in. Brody is still out there because he's the defenseman on the near side. And now a shot knocked away. Good block in front of the net. I don't think that reached Jones. Kept it at the blue line, though, and now another shot from Dobson. That goes wide, and it's going to carry him off the end boards and go all the way down the ice. The Leafs will complete their change. Romanov got it ahead at center. Bo Horvat in across the line. Had it stolen away by Nyes. Pass comes ahead for Marner. Nyes drives the net. Marner pulls back up. Still with it. Makes a fake. Now gets it to Matthews, and a shot. That was stopped. There's a big rebound. They're jamming away at it. And it is Sorokin finally covering up on it as Austin Matthews hunting around for number 3 on the night. It is a 3-2 Toronto lead against the Islanders. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully fit
Radio Network.
11th time Austin Matthews has had a multi-goal game this season. And his second goal of the game right now is the difference in the contest as the Leafs lead 3-2.
What a role he has been on. That's 19 goals now in his last 17 games. And when you consider he starts the first 2 games of the season with back-to-back hat-tricks, that'll vault you into the lead of the National Hockey League.
Yeah, that gets you out in a good start. Draw one by the Leafs, but Marner was unable to come up with it, and the Islanders poke it out at center ice. McCabe dropping it back for Liljegren. Liljegren returns the favor. Right wing side. McCabe driving it in. Noah Dobson down the boards. Ran into traffic. It came in front of the net. Played away by the Islanders. They'll get it to center and knock it to the Leaf blue line. And then fire it deep into the zone as well. Liljegren regroups. Puck comes up on the wing. Matthews giving it back to McCabe. Rink wide for Liljegren. Right wing side. Shot in around the boards. Pelech there for the Islanders. Runs into a traffic jam. It comes around the near side. Matthews is there again, shielding it nicely. Got it back to the point. Backhanded in by Brody. Round back of the net. Tavares trying to come away with it. Tavares back into the slot. To the point it comes. Brody with a drive. That was blocked. Big rebound in front of the net. Swept that, and somehow it ends up underneath Sorokin, who's without his goal stick. He looked behind him, but it was underneath his pad.
For Sorokin, he was glad when he glanced over his right shoulder he didn't find the puck. This was a simple point shot, but the Leafs had numbers in front. Bertuzzi, Nylander, and John Tavares all looking for the rebounds. And I think it was Tavares, was it not, Joe, that just kind of swept it back towards the Islander goal, and Sorokin just got it between the pads.
Now we finally have Marner and Rielly assisting on Matthews' first goal as a shot is swallowed up by Sorokin, but so far unassisted. Matthews' second goal and Romanov's tally for the Islanders.
Oh, now we got Holmberg. Holmberg up as the assist on the second Matthews goal. And at least...
What's wrong with my computer?
Matt Barzell, by the way, gets at least an assist on the Islander goal. I think there's going to be a couple of assists on that as well. Right. They're taking their time. And
Pontus Holmberg had to get an assist on the Matthews goal. Played along the boards. Brody unable to keep it in. Launched down into the Toronto zone. Settled there by Morgan Rielly, who plays it ahead. Domi in on, or Tavares in on the left wing. Stops up. Tried to chip it, and it goes off his stick and up into the screen, out of play. I would think for John Tavares, the booing now is just second nature. I'm sure that he felt it the first time they were there. And
I actually think it's a positive for the Leafs now. And Sheldon keeps sort of alluded to the fact that it's a midweek game. Sometimes the crowd could be a little sluggish or not totally into it. This helps create the atmosphere. I don't think it's as threatening an atmosphere as it was when Tavares made his first trip back to Long Island.
Played up on the left wing. Holmstrom got it to the Leaf blue line. And as it was chipped to try to shoot it in, it goes into the Toronto bench. And a face-off coming in neutral ice. 11:15 to play in the period.
Ilia Sorokin, by the way, his new contract kicks in next year, $8.25 million, which makes him the fifth highest paid goaltender in the NHL by next year, and including Carey Price and his contract with Montreal still on that as well, but just behind Sergei Bobrovsky, Andrei Vasilevsky, and Connor Hellebuyck. So he's in pretty good company.
Draw one by the Islanders, fired into the Toronto zone. Liljegren runs into forecheck, but got it on the wing, and it is cleared off a stick to center ice. Leafs come away with it again. Liljegren trying to play it ahead, had to go off the helmet there of Järnkrok, and a penalty coming here against Toronto.
And Holmberg lost his stick in the middle of this, but it's going to be another tripping penalty. And the New York Islanders, who did not take long on their first power play. 9 seconds into their first power play, they'd opened the scoring on a goal by Palmieri, and Holmberg here into his feet. He's not moving. He had to stop as the puck pass up ice was blocked. He had to stop and turn, and then it was the reach into the skates of the Islander player that is going to cost him 2 minutes.
9:05, the time of the penalty. Islanders win the face-off as well. Dobson on the wing. Barzal down into the corner. Tried to get it back. Barzal with it once more. Works back to the point to Dobson. Dobson, a shot, deflected, pushed ahead. The Leafs don't get the puck out, but now Marner has it under control and has banked it out at center ice. And David Camp has sent it back. And the defense now sends it the rest of the way down the ice. Brought on now by the Islander power play. A pass ahead that went wide and then a shot. Big save made there by Jones. I don't know why he didn't play that off the inboards, but he was almost the orchestrator of his own demise, but had to make a good shoulder save. Dobson getting it up on the left wing. Brock Nelson dropping it for Barzal. Barzal to the line, trying to feed it in for Bo Horvat. Intercepted by the Maple Leafs Simon Benoit. He couldn't clear it, and then it goes off a stick and clears the glass and goes out of play. And a face-off coming again, I believe, in the Toronto zone as a result.
Really been a defensive side of things. And the Islanders have had a number of injuries on the blue line, and then they go and get Robert Bertuzzo from the St. Louis Blues. He ends up getting injured. And only his 11th game as a member of the Islanders. So it has been a struggle for a team that once Barry Trotz came in, took over as coach, Lou Lamoriello came in as general manager, there was a shift in mentality, and they went from the worst team in the league in goals against to one of the best. But that has been a struggle to maintain those numbers this year.
Islanders control the scrum off the face-off. A shot juggled but held on the chest by Jones, and another face-off coming in the Toronto zone with 44 seconds left. Second power play unit coming over the boards for the New York Islanders.
Right, Marner and Morgan Rielly both getting the assists. By the way, Morgan Rielly now 17 points, Joe, in his last 17 games. 2 goals, 15 assists.
Islanders with a shot. Pad save made by the right leg of Jones off the wing. Against the boards now, Bo Horvat trying to free it up. It goes around the wall to the far side. Islanders get there and bounce it out in front of the net, and a shot by Barzal is deflected somehow up into the screen. Boy, he was unmarked in front of the net, and the Leafs got fortunate there.
Barzal is 11 goals on the year, 3 in the power play. This seemed to be rolling by the time it got to him at the top of the left wing circle. I don't know if maybe Martin Jones does get a piece of this. Maybe off the shaft of his stick.
Again, good face-off win. Horvat getting it back to the point. Fed off on the right wing side. It comes back to the blue line. Horvat once more trying to get it back to the point. Now on the near side, Barzal centering pass. Knocked away partially there by the stick of Matthews. And again, it goes off a stick and clears the glass and goes out of play. We were commenting about the UBS Arena. They have a row of seats opposite of the benches that are right on the glass, but then they have a walkway. And I'm reminded of the old Sudbury Arena growing up, where those seats were right around the edge of the glass, and it ended up being a fire marshal that said, you know, we got to get rid of those and make that walkway more accessible to get people in and out, and ended up losing, you know, quite a few seats. There used to be 6,666. I think it's now about maybe 6,000 or a little less, 5,900. But it's kind of an interesting construction of this new arena in Long Island near Belmont Park. Islanders get it in across the line, get it into the corner. Unable to center it there was Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck sending it down in along the boards for Pajot. Pajot works back to send it back into the corner. Back of the net, Anders Lee couldn't come up with it. And the Leafs are able to punch it ahead. Nyes carries through center. Right wing side, Marner. Slot area, Matthews, or at least for Morgan Rielly. And that was deflected wide of the goal. Boy, you just expect it to be Matthews there, don't you? Played off the boards to center, and Liljegren has to go back.
Well, Morgan Rielly is so good at coming in late, jumping into the play.
Nyes across the line. Tried to send it in. Tavares unable to reach it. Now kept in at the point by McCabe. He goes around back of the net, overskated the puck, able to regain it, sends it back behind the net. Nyes tying up his man there with Mayfield. Puck goes to the far side, and Tavares has it back at the blue line. Tavares in the slot, near side. Sent over on the left wing side. Coming off the bench, a shot from Bertuzzi is swallowed up by goaltender Sorokin. The Leafs 3 and the New York Islanders 2. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
AMD Radio Andy.
Hey, this is Andy Cohen, host of Andy.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Network.
The Leafs 3, the Islanders 2. Shots on goal favoring Toronto 24-22.
It's been an interesting game, hasn't it? That neither team has been able to maintain any kind of momentum. The Islanders seemed to dominate the first half of the opening period before the Leafs took over. Then the Leafs dominated early in the second, and the Islanders have pushed back with a goal of their own to make it 3-2. And then a power play that they were unable to convert on.
See Brian Trottier in attendance tonight. Along the boards, Nylander swinging it back behind the net for Bertuzzi. Into the far corner he goes. Couldn't handle the puck, but got it back of the goal again. It's pushed into the far corner, and we got an issue. Everything. Oh, now it's unfrozen. Okay, now we're back on. Down the boards it goes. Bertuzzi getting it back to the blue line. Liljegren is able to send it in. On the far side, Bertuzzi trying to free it up there for Tavares, and a whistle well behind the play. A high stick.
Now, I don't know if this is going to the Islanders or the Leafs. I would guess it's going to the Leafs. I think it might be.
Liljegren, 37, did he say?
Yes, the Islanders will go in their third power play of the night, and a high stick that takes place inside the Islanders zone.
And it is Liljegren as we see him in the box now.
So Liljegren is looking rather intently. Oh, boy. Kind of got his stick up after he kept the puck in from the right point. Got his stick up just a bit on the Islander forward.
Bouncing puck into the slot area. The Leafs don't clear. It's still free. Played to the near boards and to the line, but not out. Camp couldn't get it out. Leafs player Brody got tripped up, and the Leafs are able to punch it out into the center ice area, and Camp gets it down into the Islander zone. Al Barzal tries to work back in over the line and has. Down into the right wing corner it goes. Chipped along the boards to the near side. Horvat is there to play it back to the net. Cut off by Giordano. Giordano, though, fanned on his clearing attempt, and it's kept in. Barzal once more. Barzal with a fake. Now gets it back to the point. Dobson, the shot scores. And Mark Giordano is an upset individual. He had a chance to ice the puck and fanned on it. And the Islanders take advantage and keep the puck in and have tied the game with their second power play goal.
I also don't like this goal from Martin Jones' standpoint, Joe. Here's another long one. I think Kyle Palmieri just got a piece of the clearing attempt by Giordano. Just enough to slow it down and keep it in at the point. And I know there's traffic in front of Martin Jones here.
Well, it
Does
might
this
have gone
go
off Palmieri's
in
stick
front as well.
I think this goes off Palmieri's stick and up over the shoulder, to be honest with you, Jim. But we'll wait. Or Horvat.
Bo Horvat was there as well, but the Leafs penalty trouble here in this game, give up their second power play goal of the night.
So we're all tied at threes. Clutterbuck getting it back to the net for Matt Martin, but it was taken away there by the Leafs. And now backhanded to center ice off the glove of Pontus Holmberg, who races after it. Almost stole it there, but it's played ahead and now knifed out and down the ice by the Islanders. And an icing call will come as a result. Dobson took the shot from the blue line, but I thought that hit a stick and went up and over. But
we're going to get another look at it here. This was all after the Islanders were able to keep the puck in. Well, it looked like Noah Dobson was the first one to the bench, wasn't it? Given the high five.
Well, it's and we're getting shots of him ISOs on the bench, so we're going to have to assume that it is Dobson's goal. And the Islanders flipping it out into the center ice area. Settled down by Morgan Rielly. Fed back into neutral ice. A tip pass by Yarncrook didn't connect. Islanders bring it back to the blue line. In across the line. Yarncrook took his man down. Fans hollering for a penalty, but nothing happening. Pelech dropping it back. Fed to center ice. Intercepted by the Maple Leafs there, but it comes to the near wing. Back in now by Matthews. He has two on the night. Tried to free it up as it goes along the boards. And now is fed around back of the net. Tavares couldn't come up with it. It's back out at center ice. Leafs organizing. Horvat from Dot. It is Horvat who's getting the goal, Jim. So it did go off his stick. That's why it elevated over the shoulder of Jones. And it is a tie game on the power play goal. Horvat in with a pass in front. Knocked away by Nylander. Grabbed off by Tavares. Tavares protects it well, then couldn't force it ahead. Looking for his defenseman. It comes back into the slot area. Left wing side now, and a shot from an angle is stopped and smothered by Jones, who pounces on the rolling puck in the blue paint to stop play and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. It is a 3-3 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck, 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Maple Leafs and the Islanders are tied 3-3 in the second period. The Leafs took a 3-1 lead, but goals from Romanov and Horvat have tied the game. And it was Horvat who went to the bench first and signaled that he had indeed touched that puck.
In the old days, guys had to try to let the referee know that you were the.
Oh, and there were some guys who were really good at that. In across the line, the Leafs nice. Barges into the traffic. Couldn't carry the puck with him, though. And it's played back out at center ice. Matthews for Marner. Marner holds it in at the blue line nicely. Now works in with a shot. Blockered away there by Sorokin. And the Islanders are going to break it out into the center ice area. Played high into the Toronto zone. McCabe blew a tire as he was going around back of the net. The puck comes back to the blue line and is dragged out by Matthews. Matthews to the line, trying to find Marner. Nice play with the skate, but can't find a man to pick it up. And it's back out at center ice and shot down into the Toronto end. Rielly got it ahead, launched high into Islander territory. 3.5 minutes to play in the second period. Game tied 3-3. Puck along the boards for Camp. Back of the net to Brody. Now to Camp again on the near wing. He'll get it out into neutral ice. Gregor tried to play it ahead for Bobby McMahon, but that didn't work. And the Islanders have it to the league blue line where Liljegren gets it back in over the line. Camp works down the left right wing boards trying to play it back of the net. McMahon too out covered. Puck comes free to Palmieri. Palmieri can't get it out. Camp is back there but couldn't get it in deep. Islanders back at center and shot in by Pelech. Round on the boards to the far side. Controlled there by the Leaf defense. Brody got it up ahead. McMahon goes rink wide. Brought to the line and in by Toronto. Fed in on the backhand into the corner. Gregor trying to get there but unable to reach it in time. And the Islanders will get it right back out at center ice. And it is shot down into the Toronto zone. Puck along the boards comes back to the blue line. Kept in by Mike Rielly. Rielly from a sharp angle had to go high over top of the net. Trapped at the far point. Back it goes to Rielly. He tried to center. Intercepted by Tavares. He played it off the boards but kept in by Sebastian Aho. Aho back at the point to the far side. Kept alive by Rielly who sends it down into the corner. Islanders after it again. Pajot. They've done a good job of cycling the puck on the Maple Leafs on a number of occasions and had them hemmed into their own zone. Now we've got a scrum of 6 players in the corner with the puck pried up against the boards, and the official finally, mercifully, decides we'd better get this faced off. Corey Savret and Jake Brank are the referees. Michel Cormier and Dan Kelly are the linesmen.
You remember the last time you've seen a whistle on a puck that was pinned up against the boards?
Not often, no.
You watch some of the old-time games, the classic games, that used to be automatic.
Oh, automatic.
Guy would put his skate against the puck along the boards and get a whistle for it.
Yep.
That might be the first time I've seen 6 players jam it up against the boards and eventually get a whistle. 1:46 to go here in the second period. The Leafs and Islanders tied at 3.
Noah Dobson with a pair of assists in the game now with 40 points on the year. Played down into the Islander zone. Nylander up against the board. Centered it in front of the net. Oh, and a great chance for Tavares, but Sorokin was able to get down and take it on the chest and hold on. And Tavares shaking his head that should have been buried.
And that was Willie Nylander that jumped down, got in on the forecheck, and then kicked it to his stick and funneled the backhand out to John Tavares. Nylander without a point so far tonight. And the reason you say that is because it's significant. He's had points in 34 of 38 games so far this season. Now the Tavares just get booted out of the face-off dot, which will bring a rise from the crowd.
Face-off to the right of Sorokin. And everybody moving, and the puck wasn't dropped. So they'll regroup, try it again. I think. Now it's dropped. It goes into the corner, but the Leafs keep it in with a long shot. Now a break here for Bo Horvat is in a goal. And it was deflected and knocked wide of the net as a good save made there by Jones. We were laughing because the linesman who was orchestrating the face-off in the Islander zone got bowled over. Now brought back by the Islanders in across the line. Lee gets it into the corner. Nelson will curl up, gets it back to the point. Long shot taken by Mayfield. Deflected wide of the goal with less than a minute to go in the period. Now brought out by Bertuzzi. The Leafs carry to center. Bertuzzi to the line along with Tavares. Into the corner against Mayfield. Tavares works around back of the net. Fed it off the boards, but the Islanders are going to break it out at center ice. Domi got back. Break up the rush a bit. Now Barzal back to the point. Long shot. That was deflected wide of the Toronto goal. Back to the point to Alexander Romanov again. Another shot goes wide of the goal. Back to the far point once more to Barzal. Now back to the point to Romanov. Romanov into the slot area. Leafs unable to get their stick on him on the puck. Finally, it's to the side of the net. Benoit had his stick lifted. Now the pass in front. That was blocked. Goaltender Jones had lost his stick, but is able to recover it. And now here are the Islanders keeping it in. 8 seconds left. Left wing side, Romanov a shot. Blockered away there nicely by Jones. But trouble here for the Maple Leafs, but time running out. Barzal, far side, and the horn ends the pressure.
And boy, the Leafs were lucky to get the bell that ended the round because they were on the ropes, just holding on. Martin Jones, I think, made a couple of big stops or got just enough of it. But the Leafs, we haven't seen this much the last 4 games coming into this one. The inability to clear their own zone, and the New York Islanders made them pay for it.
26 shots apiece and a 3-3 tie here against the New York Islanders. We'll step aside. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way with the second period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The NFL playoffs are here, and teams have their sights set on Super Bowl 58.
Mahomes, back of the end zone, touchdown!
Right along with NFL radio leading up to Super Wildcard Weekend, as their panel of experts discusses the matchups and all the coaching news around the league.
That Chargers head coach opening is desirable because of Justin Herbert.
Catch exclusive coverage of the NFL playoffs on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg, with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Anders Holmberg into the forecheck, stole it, got it back, Matthews again, scores! He's done it again! multiple goal games for Austin Matthews, but what a great steal in the offensive zone to set it up.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for your intermissions. An eventful period. Leafs head into the dressing room with a 3-3 tie on Long Island against the New York Islanders. And I don't think Matthews liked me saying Bobby McMatthews because he came out and shut me up right away with 2 goals to start the second period.
He came back and took that title, the title being his own name, right back from Bobby McMahon. Yeah, that felt like just hearing Bonesy's call, that felt like it was a long time ago because the Maple Leafs looked like they were going to take control of this game with Matthews double early in the second period, but yeah, it's been all Islanders since then. I mean, just not a very good period for the Maple Leafs aside from that start from Austin Matthews. The Islanders definitely played their way back in. Maple Leafs probably lucky that it's not 4-3 after some really heavy pressure to close the frame. But yeah, Austin Matthews scoring another couple goals, adding to that tally. But he might need another one if the Maple Leafs are going to escape Long Island with 2 points.
Yeah, the first one of 2 that period was stunning. Just like the composure around the net. I mean, we could talk so much about Austin Matthews and the way he has a puck on a string, but that was a prime example of it. If you put Matthews within, 2 feet of the net, the amount of plays and moves and ways that he can get around a defender and a goaltender in such swift, beautiful fashion. He did that on that first goal. It's stunning. It's stunning.
Just calm in those moments, right? Like the second goal, the first goal, certainly, definitely what you're mentioning on display, but he gets a gift opportunity. Pontus Holmberg with a good forecheck, forces a turnover, Matthews in all along. And it's just cool as you like. The finish between the legs of the Islanders goaltender looked like he did not even break a sweat pulling that move and scoring his second of the game. He's one of the best goal scorers, if not the very best in the NHL right now for a reason.
Statistically, maybe one of the best ever for the Maple Leafs. So with that goal, did he tie for 4th most goals ever as a Maple Leaf?
I believe he did. I'll have to pull up the tweet too.
I believe it's with Ron Ellis.
Ron Ellis, yeah, matching Ron Ellis. Pull up Hockey Reference in the break and we'll let you know exactly who's next on the list, but he's going to ascend this thing in short order. The way he's scoring goals, the way, the Maple Leafs don't have a lengthy history of brilliant goal scorers. Of course, Matthews may be the best in their history already, but he's going to climb that ladder really, really quickly and already 4th all time, being at the age of 27, 28 right now. Austin Matthews has every single record in his grasp if he wants to stick around with this club for the long haul.
Seems like something Armin should have provided for us, eh?
Burying Arm
He's
Dog,
not even listening to us. Oh, Arm Dog. We'll get the full rundown of all the things that Austin Matthews did that period to break some records. I will say some credit to Martin Jones, as you mentioned. The Maple Leafs had the momentum to start that period, but the Islanders, they were forced down the stretch there. He made some big saves. That one goal, I think it was Dobson at the end there, a penalty kill goal, a power play goal for the Islanders. Yeah, I felt bad for Gio because he had an opportunity to clear the puck and he didn't. They looked like they're pretty gassed out there. Puck goes in the net and you could see some real frustration from Gio. You don't usually see that. He's pretty level-headed, but he was smashing the stick and you could tell he was saying some profanity.
Yeah, some profanity. Some profane words.
So profane words.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't happy with himself. I don't know if the pressure's on Mark Giordano. I don't know if he's feeling the footsteps.
You were trying to write him out of the lineup last time we were on the air.
Maybe you heard the last time we were talking about the Maple Leafs defensive core and the future prospects of it. But, Simone Benoit's had this huge breakthrough here. And you look around, Jake McCabe, Timothy Lilliger, they're all going to play in the playoffs. And we've all long assumed that another defenseman is going to come and enter this mix. I don't know where it leaves Gio, and I'm sure he's not thinking about that in the moment and just thinking about the fact that he could have got the puck out of the zone and didn't. But I think it's important that this guy performs if he wants to play on a playoff roster, if he doesn't want to be the 7th defenseman on this team. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But the thing that bothered me the most in the defensive zone from the Maple Leafs in the period was the play from William Nylander on the Alexander Romanov goal.
He's already fat and happy, eh?
I'm not doing the thing where we're already burying this guy, but you got to pick up your feet and not lazily put your stick in a shooting lane to allow a deflection or a ramp up or just making life more difficult on Martin Jones. I mean, I barely saw the Romanov goal go past Jones because it took a deflection off an outreached Nylander stick because he just wasn't skating hard enough to get in position. And that's the one thing that's going to bother people over the course of this contract if he's not doing that, which is to pick up the feet and play with the same intensity with the puck as you do without the puck, especially in your own end.
Yeah, you're not making $11.5 million to play one end of the ice. He's definitely got to pick up that defensive game. Sheldon Keefe mentioned, like, with this, comes with leadership. Leadership also means doing the things that are less glamorous, not just dancing around everybody and putting the puck in the net. It's playing on both ends of the ice. So we'll have our eyes on William Nylander because he's getting paid a lot of money, and he would like to show that was the worthwhile investment for the Maple Leafs. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll give you the out-of-town scoreboards and get you set for the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the Fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Think 2-minute truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Sometimes a smile isn't a smile. Sometimes it's a shield that hides the struggle. For some who have served in the Canadian Armed Forces or RCMP, mental health challenges can take on many faces. If you're struggling, there is support for you and your family. Visit veterans.gc.ca/mental health or call 1-866-522-2122. A message from the Government of Canada.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs and Islanders tied up at 3 after 40 minutes. Let's take a look around what else is going on in the NHL tonight. The NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Busy night in the NHL. The Red Wings have held Connor McDavid at bay so far, but it's 0-0 in Hockeytown. A wild one in Carolina. The Hurricanes leading the Ducks 5-3. It's 3-2. The Lightning leading the Devils. The Sharks have a 2-goal lead again.
Wow.
Against the Canadiens. It's
Good for
3-1,
them.
end of second in Montreal. It's 3-2. Canucks holding on to a lead in Pittsburgh. The Kings are up 2-1 on the Panthers. Kraken up 3-1 on the Capitals. Sabres up 4-1 on the Senators. And end of one, Blackhawks and Jets 0-0. And the Blues leading the Rangers 2-1. Still to come tonight. The Coyotes will host the Flames. And the Golden Knights will host the Bruins in a big one in Vegas.
We have 1 minute for you to answer this question. I saw earlier that Austin Matthews, when he thought he was in a goal slump over the last couple of days, changed his stick tape from white to black. Have you ever done that when you were in a goal slump?
I could not even fancy myself a goal scorer at any point in time.
You're always in a slump.
It's what was available. What was in my bag.
You definitely stole
what did the guy
whatever's next
beside
to you.
me
Yeah,
have?
your stallmate.
I haven't purchased clear tape, and I always have clear tape on the shin
You're
pads.
one of those
I'm
teammates.
relying on someone else. What about you? Did you mix it up when you're in a slump?
Yeah, I'd go back and forth until one of them worked.
Do you buy that it's harder to see the puck off
No.
black tape?
Maybe for a goaltender, but I'm not a goaltender.
So then why didn't you go black? Little deception.
I tried all of them and I failed.
White looks better on a stick.
Yeah, I think it looks crisp. All right, well, let's see if you can get another one, make it a hat trick tonight. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Carrie Underwood brings you a brand new way to work out. Just in time for your New Year's resolution. It's not just cardio, it's cardio.
A playlist that gets you ready to work out, gets you in the zone. I like stuff that I can either dance to or that I can get mad with.
High energy tracks you can sweat to. Plus, fitness tips from Carrie and her trainer. Cardio by Carrie's Country. Now in the Sirius XM app. Free with all trials and popular plans.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Third period to decide a 3-3 tie between the Islanders and the Maple Leafs. The goal scorers for the Islanders, Palmieri, Romanov, and Horvat. And for the Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews has a pair, and Bobby McMahon has the other.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, 19 one-goal games on the year. But would you believe this is only the 5th time they've taken a tie into the third period? I find that a little hard to believe. They're 1-1-2 in the previous 4. The New York Islanders are 2-2-4 when tied after 40 minutes of play.
Linesman over talking to Clutterbuck and Nyes about a point of order at the face-off area. The Leafs to the right and the Islanders to the left as it's knocked down by Mayfield and shot into the Toronto zone. Jones pushing it back along the boards. It's going to find Nyes. Nyes carries out at center. Tried to make a pass ahead for Matthews. That didn't work. Brought back in over the line by Pajot. He was stood up by his numerical counterpart, number 44, Morgan Rielly. but the puck not cleared from the Toronto zone until it is grabbed off and now fed ahead, and now Rielly will just chip it to the line and in. Nyes had it bounce over his stick, almost stolen there by Nylander, but it's pushed out at center ice. Rielly trying to send it back. The Islanders will get it in over the line, but a good hit by Tavares stands up Fashing and allows the Leafs to come away with the puck, but they don't get it out. Shot from an angle by Dobson went high and wide, and on the fresh ice that is caromed all the way to center ice and down into the Islander blue line area. They bring it right back in though. Hudson Fashing getting it into the slot. A pass off a skate goes to Tavares, and Tavares with a bank pass ahead for Bertuzzi. He couldn't get around the defense, but hustles into the end board, comes away with the loose puck, trying to get it back of the net for Willie, and it's going to be pushed to the line and out. Fashing will get it down into the Toronto zone. Turning with it now is McCabe. A pass ahead, deflects, but no, I guess it didn't deflect. Going to be an icing call here against Toronto. So they'll bring it back into the Leaf end. Guess we should welcome Keith Pelly to Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, who has been named as the new CEO of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Familiar name and face in the broadcasting fraternity in Toronto, who had spent some time over in Europe working on the European golf tour. Puck down into the Toronto zone. Nice move by Gregor to free up some room. Now a pass into the slot, deflects wide of the Islander goal, and it'll be Anders Lee getting it to center ice. Giordano back for Gregor. Up ahead for Bobby McMahon. Couldn't get it in deep. Lee will bring it back the other way. Lee in on the right side. Made a little move. Now cuts to the front of the net. And it rolled off his stick just as he was getting to it. Islanders have punched it back into their own zone as it goes down in back of the net. Mike Rielly for the Isle coming to center. Played it to the line. Played right back out again by Toronto. Domi down the right wing boards. Holds it up. Got a shot away. That deflected harmlessly wide of the net, though. And the Islanders in their own zone. Off the boards. Rielly pinched for Toronto, keeping the puck in. Domi gets it back into the slot. A drive by Brody is knocked away and brought to center ice by Kyle Palmieri. Palmieri hits the Leaf blue line, stands up, gets a pass back, tried to chip it into the corner and does. Clutterbuck sent it, or at least Holmstrom sent it around the boards. The Leafs intercept, and it is Pontus Holmberg getting it out for Toronto. Leafs are trying to get a change going. Liljegren trying to buy some time, drops it back. And now Simon Benoit will play it out at center ice and finds Marner. Marner dropping it back to the defenseman once more. Benoit with a long rink-wide pass, sent down into the zone by Matthews. Knives into the corner, missed his man with a hit. Matthews in pursuit. Marner comes out of the corner with the puck. Back to the point. One shot timer by Benoit was blocked. Kept alive by McCabe. He'll try to work it into the corner. Knives is able to secure it. Knives coming out of the corner. Got a shot away. Blockered there. And then Benoit on the rebound. Couldn't get the puck to the net as it was partially blocked. Now Matthews unable to come away with it. And it's going to be launched high to center ice by New York. Benoit over on the far side. Both teams getting a change in. Tavares works to center. Had it stolen away. Knocked away again, but into the far boards for Fashing. He was knocked down. Leafs take a man down, but no penalty. And it is kicked out into the center ice area then by Bertuzzi. Adam Pelech taking it around back of the net, but Nylander is in pursuit. Puck back of the net. Nylander almost came away with it, but Engvall has it now for the Islanders, only to have it hit a leg. Here's Nylander keeping the puck in. Little spinorama move, then sends it to the net, and Tavares just failed to redirect it at the doorstep. Bertuzzi trying to work along the near boards to keep it in. Nylander had to go by him, and now the Islanders in over the line. A drop pass and a pass in and a shot. Oh, and a good save made there by Jones as the Islanders broke in on the right side. I believe that was Engvall who had the chance. Now Tavares works in over the line. The Bluebirds have escalated things a little bit here now that the game is tied 3-3.
Well, you want to circle that stop, though, by Martin Jones. His biggest and most difficult of the night.
Pinching is Rielly to keep it in. McMahon down into the corner, takes his man down. No penalty there. Puck along the boards into the far side. McMahon got a piece of his man. Leafs Camp able to keep it in. Coming off the wing. His shot was blocked and goes into the near corner. Camp unable to come away with it. And the Islanders flipping it ahead as Pajot gets it to center. Morgan Rielly shoots it right back in again. Coming up on 6 minutes played in the third. Game tied 3-3. Leafs home for a pair Saturday and Sunday. And we'll be right back here with you on Sportsnet 590 The Fan for both of those games. Played along the boards to the blue line. Kept in by the Islanders. Long pass into the near corner is deflected away, but kept alive by Dobson, who sends it down into the corner. Dobson got it around to the far side. Holmberg trying to free it up on the boards, has it in his skates, and the Maple Leafs find some open ice, and Benoit will get to center. Tried to shoot it in, but it hit a leg, then carried by the Maple Leafs down into the zone. Domi goes into the corner after it. Got the stick of Dobson away from him. Now played over on the far side, but it goes off the skate of Liljegren and comes to center ice. Giordano takes a hit, but makes the play to get it in deep. Played around the boards to the near side. Kept in with a shot by Matthews, which was knocked away by Sorokin. And the Islanders have played it down the ice. Goaltender Jones gave the puck away. And then the shot went off the side of the goal. He needed to throw that with some authority and kind of babied it and almost gave away a freebie. Played down into the Islander zone. Nyes back to the point. Walking the line, Brody to Matthews. Doesn't shoot it. Played into the corner for Morgan Rielly. Chipped a little further into the back of the net area. Nyes back for Marner. A centering pass. Matthews tipped it to the net, but it was blocked. And now here's Engvall working in on the right wing side. Stood up into the corner. Matthews trying to dig the puck away. Has it come free. Tried to flip it ahead. That was blocked. Then he blocks another shot and is able to flip the puck out at center ice. Nylander got to the line and in, but couldn't carry the puck with him. Engvall carries back to center before shooting it in and peeling to the bench. Leafs around back of the net. Morgan Rielly, rink wide, finds Tavares. Nifty move there, has had Benoit with him. Tavares to Nylander, shooting! And that was stopped by the left pad of Sorokin. Played to center and in over the line, but getting back was McCabe, and Benoit will help out. McCabe dumps his man right into the goal. Now they're booing McCabe for crying out loud. In over the line, it goes to Nylander. Nylander taken to the board. In goes Bertuzzi with a hit. And the Islanders trying to work the puck out at center and do. Brought in on the left wing with a shot. Blockered away there by Jones. Things opening up here a little bit in this third period. Game tied 3-3.
Leafs have probably gotten away with, 2 or 3 infractions here in the third period?
Hardly noticeable.
I do believe those paid to get in are in disagreement with that.
Noticing. Down into the corner it goes. McMahon back of the net for Camp. Camp gets it back to the point. Quickly over to Morgan Rielly. Into the slot area shot. Nice blocker save made by Sorokin. Out come the Islanders. Holmstrom comes to center. Tried to get it to the line. It shot into the Toronto zone, but Islanders had to hold up because they were in the midst of a change. And it's sent around to Morgan Rielly on the left wing. He'll come out at center. Pass intercepted. Brought back by Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck to an open wing. Liljegren gets there for Toronto. Taken to the end boards. Puck back of the net. Brought out in front of the goal then by Domi. And he'll flip it out at center. Finding Yarncrook. Yarncrook tried to return the favor, but it went off a stick. Back into the Toronto zone. 10:28. This moving along quite briskly, Mr. Ralph. Here's Benoit. Got it in over the line, and a long, lazy shot is easily gloved by Sorokin to bring us to a stoppage of play. A 3-3 tie here in the third, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray. Special guest, Lamar Jackson.
Did you have that chip on your shoulder still?
I definitely do still have that chip on my shoulder. I don't think I have accomplished what I wanted to yet, so that's why that chip is still on my shoulder. I want that Super Bowl. You know, I've been chasing that for a long time.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. The Power Play with Steve Coulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
It's Radio Network.
A 3-3 tie, the Leafs and the New York Islanders.
Well, 3 Leafs with 4 shots on goal already in this game. There's John Tavares, Austin Matthews, and Timothy Liljegren. All had 4. Mentioned the big save by Martin Jones earlier. It was off Hudson Fasching, and then it was after that Martin Jones came out and looked like he was trying to pass a bowling ball up the left wing boards.
It was heavy, yes. Played down into the Toronto zone. Liljegren reversing the puck for McCabe. He in turn works it out at center with a pass to Matthews, who sends an alley-oop in wide of the goal. Domi out there now. Centering pass for Matthews didn't work, and it gets past McCabe back down into the Toronto zone. Once again, Marner out there now with Matthews. Puck down into the corner. Played around back of the Islander goal. Now stolen by Tavares. Centering pass didn't work. Matthews comes away with it. Almost stole it again. And it's back out into the center ice area. Islanders Barzal can't get through the defense. A pass ahead at center. Brought in over the line by Bertuzzi. He lost the handle on it. Islanders find an opening. Get it to the line and in. Pass off by Horvat to the sharp angle. And that is handled by Jones and covered up on it. There'll be a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 9:07 to play in the third period. All of the scoring in the first 2. It's tied at 3s. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier, because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs 3 and the Leafs 3 and the Islanders 3. Almost had too many teams playing there.
Pretty big games in the out-of-town scoreboard as well. Coming into this game, the New York Islanders have the first wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. Back to the Philadelphia Flyers for third in the Atlantic, with just a point up on Tampa and 2 points up on the New Jersey Devils. I mean, it's going to go down to the wire, I think, in a pretty big game in Tampa between the Devils and the Lightning, as Devils have scored 2 straight to come back and tie that game at 3.
Shot off the faceoff there was blocked by Benoit. And the Leafs were able to get it out at center. McMahon gets it into the zone, but can't get it in deep. And the Islanders have it out into neutral ice. Horvat down the right wing board. Had it knocked away. Good play made there by Toronto against the boards, but the puck goes to the side of the net. Benoit denied the chance for Horvat to carry out in front. And the Leafs flip it ahead. And now Bobby McMahon starts it out with a alley-oop pass, looking for David Camp. It comes free. Here's a chance for Gregor. Centering pass. Oh, and a shot by Camp was deflected just wide of the net. Fourth line's been pretty good for the Maple Leafs tonight. Long shot from the blue line. Deflects off a body. Into the corner goes McMahon. McMahon trying to reverse the puck, but it's cut off there by the Islanders. And they're going to get it out into neutral ice and get a change of players going and now send it back behind their own goal. 8 minutes and 8 seconds left to go.
First and fourth lines have both been good for the Leafs, but this is where you need a little more from the second and third line, obviously, as we're still waiting for Willie Nylander to put his stamp on this game.
Brought back in over the line by Bertuzzi. Bouncing puck, Bertuzzi still with it as it comes back to the blue line. Just kept in. Near side, Morgan Rielly. Rielly into the corner. Drops it back for Nylander. He lost it, then regained it, then got it on the wing, and the pass back in front of the goal didn't work. I think Bertuzzi should have shot that. Now Nylander with it again. Willie turning at the blue line, still with it. Flips it back now for for Tavares, who spun and tried to shoot it, but it was blocked. And the Islanders will get it down into the Toronto zone and get a change going. Last time the Leafs were on Long Island, it was the Father's trip. As it's played into the slot area and down into the left wing corner. Nyes couldn't get away with it. And now here is Clutterbuck coming to center. Clutterbuck will bank it to the line. Didn't get it into the zone. Played to an open wing, forcing New York back. Now flipped in over the line by Matt Martin, but it is going over the glass and going out of play. And a faceoff is going to come in the center ice area.
John Tavares was in Long Island last time to get his 1,000th point. It came in spectacular fashion. The Leafs were down a goal. Pulled the goaltender. Morgan Rielly ended up scoring, but John Tavares assisted on it. So it wasn't one of those milestone points in a game that was out of hand or the point had very little significance. It was of great significance for the Leafs that were able to get a point before losing to the Islanders in overtime.
Yeah, Horvat scoring 46 seconds into the OT. Leafs went on to beat the Rangers the next night. And an icing call here against the Islanders will be brought back into New York territory.
You said when you talk about the importance of overtime wins and everything else, and Ilia Samsonov is 5-2-6 on the year. As bad as things have been, he could well be 11-2. You know, if he had a little better in a 5-minute segment after regulation.
Draw won by the Islanders. They work it off the boards to center. Liljegren stood up as man, but Barzal is able to get into the zone. Challenge there, but Barzal works back towards the blue line. Into the corner with a centering pass, and that went wide. Holmberg gets it to the line and out. He'll drop it off for Morgan Rielly. Quickly played ahead. Trying to play it in deep there was Yarncrook. Back of the net is Holmberg. Holmberg sweeping it around. It'll go to the far point, but the Leafs are unable to keep it in as it is pushed out into the center ice area. Pass ahead. Marner plays it high into the zone. Bounces to the side of the net. Matthews steals the puck back. Got it back behind the net. Nylander, a wraparound attempt. That was stopped. The big boys are all together here on this line. Brought out into the center ice area. Played down into the Toronto end. McCabe works it back behind the net. Tried to play it up on the wing. It's going to clear to the line, but not out. Matthews then blocked it, and he's away. Matthews in over the line to Marner. Marner pulls up. Tries to find a man in front of the net. That didn't work. McMahon over the boards to add some forechecking pressure, but it is cleared by New York down into the Leaf end. 5:14 to go. I love the way Sheldon Keefe will every once in a while just fire everybody out there at once. Now here the Leafs back into the attack. Near side for Rielly. Shot goes off a body wide of the goal. Into the near corner. McMahon couldn't come up with it. Islanders have sent it out and down the ice. Icing waved off on a generous call by the official as Brody is able to send it around the boards and out into the Islander zone. Well, all right, they got it turned around. That icing down in New York's territory wasn't called.
Somebody's got reservations.
Yes. Played along the boards and in over the line. Here's Bo Horvath trying to drive the net. Good block on the centering pass by Bertuzzi. He tried to send it ahead for Nylander, and it was just too far for him to reach. Nylander battles in the corner. Tavares arrives on the scene to add support. Flip back of the net for Bertuzzi. Stood up, tried to center. Good stick there from Sorokin. Blocked the centering pass right at his goal post. And now it's cleared into the bench. With 4:11 to play in the period, we're still tied at 3.
You're right. If he doesn't intercept that pass, that's an empty netter in front.
It is a 3-3 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Longtime New England head coach Bill Belichick and the Patriots have agreed to part ways. Sirius XM NFL Radio with comprehensive coverage of this blockbuster story, plus a super wild card weekend preview. Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88, and on the Sirius XM.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
It's Radio Network.
3-3 tie, the Leafs and the New York Islanders. And the Leafs, along with Montreal, have the most overtime games played this year, 15.
Yeah. Islanders are right behind them with 14. By the way, Islanders have only had 3 shots on goal in the entire period, but included in those 3 was the best save of the night for Martin Jones. Odd man rush. Jones was able to move from his right to his left and get a glove on it.
Willie Nylander without a point, but in his first 38 games of this season, 57 points. Darryl Sittler and Lorne Carr, former Leafs, that have had that distinction of getting that many points that quickly. Doug Gilmour in 92-93 had 96. And the Islanders now break it out at center with Engvall. playing it deep into the Toronto zone, hustled after it, but McCabe got back to get it into the corner. That's drawing a crowd in there. Tavares hunting around for a loose puck. And Tavares is able to come away with it. Tavares just flipping it out at center and bouncing it down into Islander territory. It won't go for icing. And Alexander Romanov, who has scored in the game, got it up on the wing, and now 3:27 remain in regulation. Pass for Clutterbuck doesn't work. Brody, banned on a pass, drags it back into the corner. 4 players in there battle for it. Centering effort didn't work. It comes back to the point. Islanders with a long shot that's wide. And Rielly carries into the corner now on the backhand to get it out off a stick and down to Islander blue line area. Played right back by New York. Pajot gets it into the zone. Benoit goes back for Toronto. Simon Benoit leading the rush. Comes to center. Young man from Montreal who grew up a Canadiens fan. He's got his parents and all of his friends all outfitted in Toronto blue and white, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of most of the neighbors. Played by Jones into the corner, but it comes back to the point. Long shot in traffic, deflects wide of the net. Matthews up ahead on the wing. Marner couldn't get it out for him. Back to the point again, a drive. That was just off the mark wide, and McCabe has it under control in the near corner.
Well, that starts again with Martin Jones and another giveaway. Came out and just kind of lobbed it into the corner, and Barzal picked it off and eventually led to a scoring chance.
Flipped into the zone. Pontus Holmberg in pursuit, but had it knocked away by Romanov. Banked off the boards to center and down into the Leaf end, and a race for the puck is going to be charged on ice, and good hustle there and good skating by 44 Morgan Rielly.
Fans, by the way, did not agree with the icing call. They thought maybe
sure?
Brock Nelson might have had a step on it.
Well, Tavares was on the ice at the same time. It may have been overlapping boos.
Carryover?
Yeah, exactly. So a face-off with 1:58 remaining in the third in the Islander zone. Domi wins it cleanly. Rielly sends it in around back of the net for Yarncrook. Yarncrook hustles after it, pokes it back to the point. Brody with a shot in traffic that was well wide. It goes around back of the net. Dobson ran into a traffic jam, fed to the near side, and it'll be flipped to center ice by Kyle Palmieri. Brought in now by the Islanders, fanning on the shot, and able to take it away then was Brody. Brody gets it ahead, and the Leafs get it out. Clutterbuck trying to shoot it back in again, and has done just that. Morgan Rielly settles things down, banks off the end boards to find his defense partner, gets it returned. Now looks up ice and finds Nylander, who couldn't get away. It's back into the Toronto zone, and 1:12 remains in the third. Rielly fans on a pass, out chips it in over the line, past Bertuzzi, down into the corner. Bertuzzi got it freed up. Willie with a shot right on a rebound, and unable to convert it on the backhand was Tavares. A quick turnover there on the hustle by Bertuzzi. And now here's Tavares working in with Willie. Nylander spinning it back to the blue line. Trapped there by Benoit. Sent into the corner. Comes back up on the wing, and Barzal will play it down into the Toronto end. McCabe tied up his man. It comes back into the slot area. Noah Dobson down the right wing boards. Trying to play it to the side of the goal. It's centered in front and knocked wide of the net on a Bo Horvat wraparound attempt. At the point, sent in around back of the net. Horvat coming out in front, had it roll off his stick, and Nye skates it out at center. Nyes is going to flip it into the zone and go hustling in there after it. Takes his man to the boards. 12 seconds left in the third period. Nyes was tripped, so everybody's even on the penalties that weren't called, and the puck will come to center, and that should just about do it as it's cleared into the Toronto end, and time is going to run out. So we're going to overtime.
He said shots on goal. Islanders get that one late, but the Leafs outshoot the Islanders in the third period by a count of 10-4, 36-30 overall, and the second time this season. The Leafs and the Islanders will go to extra time.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of. Even a fully fenced...
To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Long shot, deflects in front of the goal. They backhand it into the net.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Well, if you're going to bet on somebody maybe scoring in the overtime, Austin Matthews has scored 12 goals in either the third period or overtime this year. He's got 2 on the night, numbers 32 and 33. Both of them scored in the second period.
Or does Willie Nylander get on the board in overtime? By the way, since the Islanders defeated the Leafs back on December the 11th, it was a 4-3 overtime win for the New York Islanders. The Islanders have lost 3 in overtime. 3 straight games that have gone to extra time they've lost. And, of course, as you mentioned, Austin Matthews, the last time the Leafs were out, ended the game in Anaheim with an overtime marker and a 2-1 Leaf win.
So they switch ends. Martin Jones will be down to our left, and Ilya Sorokin to the right on your radio dial. Darryl Sittler with 14 overtime winning goals. Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander both have 10. Here we go. Islanders win the draw. And it is Dobson back in his own zone, tied up by Marner, stolen now by Matthews, who chips it back into his own end, and that'll force Jake McCabe back into his own zone. Tried to make a long pass there for Matthews, but it was ill-timed, and it turns into an icing and coming back.
An interesting choice. Usually Morgan Rielly's the automatic on defense to come out. Now, we have seen at times where Sheldon Keefe would start David Kampf
to try and win the faceoff. Yeah,
to win the faceoff, and then if he's successful, get off.
Draw to the right in the Leaf zone. Matthews had to go off his skate. It comes back to Dobson. A pass in front. They score. Matthew Barzal deflects the Dobson pass on a faceoff lost by Austin Matthews in the defensive zone. And for the second time in Long Island, the Maple Leafs are going to lose in overtime, and it's going to come early again, just like the last one. This one comes 21 seconds into the OT.
And not to be hypercritical, but if Morgan Rielly starts in overtime, is there an icing on that play? I mean, the whole thing starts a mispass when Jake McCabe tried to fire it up ice. I mean, you can go back and do that over just about every minute of every game. But right here, it's the face-off loss after the icing, and not great coverage going to the net. Jake McCabe behind Matthew Barzal, and looks like I don't know, Joe, if this was actually stopped by Martin Jones or if it was going wide and Barzal redirected it in. But either way, the New York Islanders, who trailed 3-1 in the second period, so another 2-goal lead by the Leafs this season, doesn't hold up. But they get a point in Long Island.
So the Leafs will come home, and back-to-back games, Saturday, Sunday, Colorado and Detroit. We'll have both of those games for you, and we hope that you will join us Saturday evening at 7 o'clock when we are at Scotiabank Arena. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
NFL fans, you can hear every game of the NFL playoffs on SiriusXM. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, the Dolphins take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. In your car, you'll find the Miami broadcast on Channel 82 or 226.
Wide open! open. Tyreek Hill, touchdown.
The Kansas City feed on channel 210 or 227.
Mahomes looking right, back of the end zone, caught, touchdown.
And the national broadcast on channel 88. And with the all-new Sirius XM app, take the game with you wherever you go. Just search Dolphins or Chiefs to find the game.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at of all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores.
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Rielly and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, scores!
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
Realized there was a belt involved, but I will.
Well, the boys handed it to us as they
did.
Flew
Okay,
out of
so we
here.
got the belt. We intend to use it. Third star will be Noah Dobson. He had 40 points or 38 points, in 40 games coming in. He had a hand in all 4 goals for the New York Islanders, up to 42 points in 41 games. Young defenseman having an outstanding season. So he'd be our third star. You want to take the second star?
I will. And that will be Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews. He got back-to-back goals in the second period. Both of them beautiful. Ends up tying Ron Ellis for 4th on the Maple Leafs all-time goal-scoring list. And he's got, I think, 18 goals in his past 17 games. He's on a red-hot streak. And tonight is Maple Leafs' best player.
But the best player on the ice was Matt Barzal. Like Dobson, a hand on every goal in the game for the Islanders, but he was the one that put it in the back of the net to win the game. So Matt Barzal will be in Toronto for the All-Star game in a couple weeks. And he's our number 1 star tonight in a win over the Maple Leafs.
A tough one for the Leafs. Like, they came out slow. We talked about it after the first intermission. Maybe, getting back into the swing of things from a long road trip, and then a quick home trip, and then back on the road. So we gave them a little bit of grace, but I would say that wasn't their strongest performance of a 64 62 minutes. That was a quick overtime, maybe 62 minutes. It wasn't super great, but they get a point on the road again against Islanders, and they head home and they play a lot better teams on the horizon. There's going to be 8 of the next 11 games, including 2 against the league-leading teams, the Jets. They got the Oilers, the Canucks, and the Stars. It's not going to get easier, but I think the Maple Leafs like to play hard teams. I think they've found an identity where sometimes playing the lower-level teams, they don't show up. Not that the Islanders were, but I'm excited to see them play some high-end talent in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, some really good big games coming up. And, it's weird that it's frustrating that the Maple Leafs go to overtime as often as they do, league-leading 16th visit to overtime this season. But that is a strong recipe in order to rack up points. So the Maple Leafs keep going overtime games. Even when you lose in overtime, of course, you do get to make some progress or some headway in the standings. So going to 16 overtimes does have its benefits, although you'd like to see the Maple Leafs be able to separate themselves a little bit more effectively. They did that, of course, on the West Coast and against a West Coast team most recently in the San Jose Sharks, but it's something they're going to have to do down the stretch here against a tougher schedule, against good teams, games fast and furious coming at them, separating themselves from the opponent. It should be one of the focus items down the stretch over the back half of the season.
Okay, since we have a couple minutes here, let's look ahead. Saturday night, the Colorado Avalanche. We've got that game as well. And Sunday night, the Detroit Red Wings, back-to-back, both at home at Scotiabank Arena. We've got the goaltending question once again. We've got Samsonov on the bench. You've got Martin Jones, who's now played all of these games. And you've got Dennis Hildeby. So who do you think you see on Saturday night?
I don't think that's any question. It's going to be Martin Jones on Saturday night. I think the big question would be Sunday, though. Is it Ilia Samsonov, or are we going to see Dennis Hildeby come back up, or are we going to see Martin Jones on a second half of a back-to-back again? I do doubt that, but let's start with Martin Jones on Saturday, and we'll see what happens from them. We should go around the league before we send a Leafs talk.
So the NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Okay, let's roll through these because the boys are waiting. The Oilers got a 3-2 victory in overtime over the Red Wings. Hurricanes doubled up the Ducks 6-3. Lightning just won it in overtime over the Devils 4-3. Sharks get a win in Montreal 3-2 over the Canadiens. Canucks beat the Penguins in overtime. It's 2-2 Panthers and Kings end of regulation. 4-1 the Kraken beat the Capitals. 5-3 the Sabres beat the Senators. It's 1-0 Blackhawks over the Jets end of the second period. 3-2 the Blues lead the Rangers end of 2. 4-1 the Flames have a lead early on in the first period. 4-1 Flames leading the Coyotes. And still to come tonight, a worthy nightcap. Bruins and Golden Knights, 10 p.m. from Vegas.
Lots of overtimes tonight. Maple Leafs were one of them. We'll send to Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee up next. Thanks for listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
All right, Leafs talk, double dork talk. We got the glasses rolling
and black sweaters.
I don't know. It's just a t-shirt. I own a t-shirt. But yeah, we're twinning up tonight. The Leafs lose in overtime. That's 3 of 4 to the Islanders that they've dropped. I think there's only one way to start the show, buddy. Not the finest moment for Jake McCabe. Like, yeah, what are we doing here, brother? I actually have really liked McCabe lately, but that overtime sequence, that's Hall of Fame level bad overtime performance for a guy in a Leafs uniform.
The the TSN producer did him dirty with that below the goal line angle of Mitch Marner wide open, banging his stick like 4 times. And he's like, no. Rocket pass through 3 sticks to try to hit Matthews for a clear icing. Yeah, not a great decision, and it ends up in the back of your net immediately, and I'm sure he's pretty upset. Did Rielly finish the game? Is that why? Or is it like the overthink thing that they're like, it's overthink thing?
It's just overthink thing, man. Yeah. Rielly's perfectly fine and rested. I thought the same thing. It made no sense to have him out there. It's just kind of, this is the tinkerer loves to tinker, and he loves to tinker in the overtime.
He plays so many OTs. He's like, We got to try something new. It's like I'm sick of just putting out the same 3 guys. I got to try something new. I don't know.
16th overtime this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was thinking, you know how there's those gambling sites that'll go, if you put $5 on this thing throughout the course of the season, you'd have $1 million. And you go, wow, I guess I'm a stupid idiot. I actually am a stupid idiot for not betting Leafs to go to OT every single night. What would my return be? I watch this team. I have no excuse at this point to not be a millionaire off of gambling on this. So I'm going to be the cooler. I'm going to start placing dough down on Leafs to go to overtime so that we can all save time in our lives and avoid these unnecessary overtime periods. But just to close on the McCabe thing, it's just we both like the guy, okay? And I've liked his play a lot recently. I think that he's had a really good bounce back this year after starting the season slowly. Got the injury, came back, and since then has played great. But this is just his thing. This is what you got to kind of live with McCabe sometimes is he gets horny. He gets horny for plays. And and you see it. It's either trying to jump up into the rush, it's trying to make a big hit, it's trying to make a big stretch pass. And as ugly as that is tonight, I think you got to live with it. That's the type of player you have. You can't really reel him in because it's his identity.
Well, yeah, or you could just start maybe their best 3-on-3 player, Morgan Rielly.
Well, that works too. Yeah. I'm working with this parameter of that.
Sure.
The reality, the guy that played, the thing that happened.
But the reality is the guy that's watching, I don't know, Blues Clues behind the bench on the iPad for half the third period. Maybe he could have just put out the guys who are good and 3-on-3. Like, maybe we could put Camp and Gregor out there to start next time to really get started up because they had a good game. Maybe reward them with 3-on-3. Like, it drives me nuts. Just put Morgan Rielly out there to start every single 3-on-3 overtime. He might be their best 3-on-3 guy. Him and Nylander are both really, really good in 3-on-3. And you'd think the coach that's watched, you said 16? How many games have they played? 35, 36? Like a lot of their games have gone to overtime and they've watched a lot. You can limit McCabe. You can put him out there, but just don't start him. Anyways, yeah, it's a loser point again. Leafs get another loser point, but yeah, just a little mad about that.
Where would they be without the loser point though?
Oof, probably not in a playoff spot.
There's a case, I was going to say, there's a case to be made for, hey, where would the Leafs be if they just turned a bunch of these loser points into wins, right?
Yeah.
They'd easily be first if they were better in overtime. Mm-hmm. Strong case to be made for, hey, a team with this level of talent, shouldn't they get less loser points and more loser wins?
Well, they have the yips. They're yipped out in overtime. Like they all are like, we're the best guys. We're cool. We're nonchalant. We don't have to try too hard in this. Like, it's just, they're all very clearly like, know how sick they are. And they're like, well, we'll get our chances. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, it's in the back of your net. It happens all the time with this team. Sometimes they should win more in overtime than they lose. And I don't know what the record is even. I couldn't tell you. Does anybody have it offhand?
I got it, but I've got it. They've now got 8 overtime losses. And, that to be fair to them, that's the same that the Bruins have, right? And I'm not sure how much that gets talked about in Boston is like, hey, the Bruins. So they're tied for, I want to say first in the NHL with 8 loser points. Let me just double check that.
Bill Belichick just left, and the Celtics are the best team in the NBA. I'm pretty sure they're not talking about 3-on-3 overtime.
Yeah. Yes. Fair point by you. No, the Kraken have 9 loser points. And then the Isles have 10 and the Leafs have 8. So I do think though that there's something to be said for if you were going to pick the teams in hockey and say, hey, we're going to do a draft of it's all going to go 3-on-3. The NHL is going 3-on-3. What team do you want to be? You'd say, well, yeah, the Leafs are at the very top. They got Nylander, they got Matthews, they got Marner. The whole premise of what these guys are built on is supposed to be, hey, go win the skills competitions. And yet they've dropped 8 of these skill competitions. I think
that's where you got to lean on your pro scout. You got to call Books, and he's like, I don't know, boys, they're not very good in 3-on-3. Like, you got to go with Barkov or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I know a lot of it's just random and bad breaks, and you make one brain fart and it goes in the back of your net. But you're right. It's going to be a little annoying if the Leafs miss the top seed this year. If they end up in a first round series against the Florida Panthers, and you have the reflection of, boy, it would have been nice to win 2 or 3 more of those overtimes and have
100%.
not made mistakes like Jake McCabe icing a puck and then getting beat to the net off the draw after he made such a ham bone mistake. Anyways, I got to tell, you want to move to Matthews? Like, what is there to say? The guy's unbelievable at scoring goals.
It's just any way you want it, buddy. He'll do it any way you want it. Like wrister, tip, backhand, sauce, little bit of silkiness. Like the first one, the first one is so nice. I gotta say, like the falling down on the celly does take away from it. Sorry,
I love it. It humanizes him.
No,
Humanizes him.
It's way less cool. Like you go down your little crouch and you fall on your face. You look.
I loved it.
It's not as cool. It's not as cool.
I loved it.
But the second one is just a really, really gross play. Like it's just, Holmberg does a nice puck pursuit, wins a battle against the guy with one hand somehow. Not a great play. Was it Dobson that coughed it up there? Not a great play by him. Like this is not a banner play, but to put that through his legs and then have the wherewithal to quickly slide it backhand 5-hole. And we're not talking about whoever played net for the Sharks here. We're talking about maybe the best goalie in the league, top 5 goalie in the league. Like he's a really, really good goalie. Made him look stupid. So I mean, number 33, and they've played 39 games now. So my 50 and 50 hopes they're fleeting, my friend. We're going to need a 6-goal game coming up here pretty soon. But nonetheless, he's been unbelievable. And he just continues to carry them offensively. There's not a whole lot else you can say.
I got to tell you, so the goals, there's nothing more to really add to what you said. They're filthy. I love the patience on the first one, actually, especially just because, again, it's like how anyone on earth doesn't just see a puck that's there and not just, exactly. Like it's just human nature that like for you to have the processing power in that moment to not just jam the puck. Like, again, how many guys in the NHL just right there, jam? Right?
They're chopping. Somebody's chopping at it or trying to poke it in.
And not a soul, not any critical person could ever be like, well, why didn't he take it and then be patient and go drag it across the net? That's not analysis. That's just, it's a one of one thing. And it got me, I don't know if he's going to hit the 50 and 50. I would love it. I think that the closer it gets, the more fun the pursuit would be. You can't rule him out because he's just capable of having these multi-goal games every single night. And even the rest of the game, you could tell he was chasing around the hat trick. And even part of the McCabe pass, I think, is centered around the idea of, hey, we got to try to feed it to 34.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do this a little bit more on my podcast more. I'm going to stretch it out a bit. I normally really hate when we do the whole, like, is someone the GOAT of something, especially this early in their career? I think it's pretty stupid. I understand it because he's on pace with Ovechkin or he's outpacing Ovechkin, right, at this point of his career. But what you said there, any way you want it, that's the thing about Matthews that is so extraordinary to me is it's not just the wrister, right? It's all the different ways that this guy can score goals. It is a little unprecedented for a guy that gets him this many, that he scores him this many different ways, right? That he keeps finding new spots on the ice that are his spots. Each season, he kind of evolves his game a little bit. Again, I'm not going to do the GOAT talk. I think it's really, really silly, but he's just, man, this sounds stupid now too, but he's just so special. He's just such a special goal scorer.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fine. It doesn't sound stupid. You're bang on. And Ovi early in his career definitely scored goals in different ways. Like when he first came up, like he was powerful and he could score, off the rush. He'd dangle a guy, he'd power a guy through. And then as his career progressed, it was more the one-timer from the top of the circle, as we all know. Like I feel like he scored over half of his goals from one spot on the ice, which in itself is amazing. But yeah, like I just think the ways that he finds to score goals is remarkable. And I don't think, what did he tie Ron Ellis for? Was it 6th all time? He's played 8 seasons, man. It's unbelievable. Like he is going to be in the 600, 700, 800 goal range by the time his career is done. No question. Like he's obviously, the injury stuff has sort of bubbled up with him in the past where he's missed stretches of game, but he's still almost close to, half a goal, or I don't really know the exact number per game or whatever. But like, I think it's pretty hard to believe he won't be in the 700 range by the time his career's done. He just scores all the time. And like I said, all different ways. So amazing.
So this game, I thought that the Leafs started really slow. Bad start.
Can I ask you something? Do they always kind of not play well in this game? Like, is it just me or like it
I
feels
thought that
like
they had stretches in this where they played really well.
Sure.
I thought that the first like 6, 7, 8 minutes, the Leafs were kind of dogging it. Matthews takes a penalty and then boom, they're just down there behind the 8 ball. And it felt like the Islanders were out smelling blood and they wanted to bury the Leafs right away. Marty Jones makes a bunch of good saves as he's apt to do. And then the Leafs found their footing and I thought played great for basically the rest of the period. They played awesome, I thought, for the second period. It was just a close, tightly checked game. And then the third, I thought it was basically both teams, they met during the intermission. They went, hey, you down for a tie? You down?
Point time? Point.
Yeah,
Let's do a point.
You good for a point? We're good for a point. All right, cool. We're going to just kick this thing over to OT because, the last 10 minutes of the period were pretty lifeless, I would say. There wasn't too much going on. I think Nylander created a shot that was fairly, that's the only real notable play, I think, from the third period. But I actually I like tonight, maybe it's just the compression chamber of going from watching the Sharks, but I thought that watching the first and second periods, especially, that it was like a tightly checked game, not a ton of mistakes on either side, other than some sloppy stick penalties from a couple of the Leafs players, right? Liljegren has one where it's a high stick. Holmberg has one where a guy steps on his stick, but it's a bit of a loose play. I like tonight overall. I thought that this was a good one.
You're right. Maybe it is the Sharks factor where, you have to get used to the other team having the puck again. So it's like, oh yeah, that happens in hockey games, right? The other team gets to play too. Forgot about that part of hockey. But I don't know. It's just, you watched them in that game last week against LA, who's struggling now. So maybe it's not as impressive as it seemed at the time. And, in that Anaheim game where they're just playing so hard and they're just, I guess you can't bring that effort every night and you can't play that hard every single night, which I completely understand. But it just seems in this game, I don't know. It's not the right word isn't timid. I don't know, passive sometimes. Tavares, I didn't think was particularly good tonight. I didn't think that line in general was very good tonight.
No,
I think Johnny T absolutely hates this game. And I think the guys know it. And I think it kind of bleeds down through the team. There's just something about them going in this game. Like, what's their record there since they've?
Well, I just told you they've lost 3 of their last 4, but they think they won back to back before then. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because remember
against the Islanders, they've lost 3 of their last 4.
Okay, because they won 1-3 when they were like ravaged. I think maybe it was COVID or there's I think where they had a long road trip. I just feel like they really take on the captain in this game where he clearly hates it. And I feel like, I don't know, there's just a weird energy to these games that I don't know.
You're right. You're right, buddy, because I looked it up before the game for a reason. Like I didn't just get that stat like, oh, I'm Rain Man. I remember this thing. No, I looked it up before the game because when they went down 1-0, I went, this feels all too familiar. But anyways.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that surprises me. I thought it'd be worse than that. Anyways.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. So again, maybe it's just a little bit of recency bias. Maybe it's the Tavares thing, but I thought a similar thing. But I thought the Leafs were okay tonight. Like again, I enjoyed the play for the most part. I thought that they played within themselves. I really liked the fourth line. I thought that they had a real impact on the hockey game. I noticed Holmberg a bunch too. I know he took again the bad penalty and that the assist that he ends up getting, the +1 he gets is more about his opponent than it is about him. Mm-hmm. But I liked those 4 tonight. And I kind of had a feeling like, boy, if you look at the minutes, I don't know if this team does have a third and fourth line really anymore. It's more of just they have 2 different kinds of fourth lines.
Yeah. I like the fourth line a lot. I thought, it's a pretty big detriment to old Nick Robertson. You see that, he gets a goal. He looks good against the Sharks, and the fourth line, Gregor, immediately goes back in when he's feeling well. And I thought he was good tonight.
I told you, you can't learn anything.
I know. But you just think if you're ever going to get to go in another game after you score and you look okay in an NHL game, you thought you'd maybe get another one, but it ends up being the right call because Gregor makes a great play on this Bobby McMahon.
Awesome play.
I like these guys as regular season contributors. Like I like that they've got these McMahon and Holmberg and Gregor, but do you really think that they're going to be there when the playoff starts? I know we're doing game breakdowns, but to me, it's like these guys are good regular season contributors. But when the games get bigger, I'm not sure I want all of these guys in the lineup. Maybe that's a different story for a different day. But
buddy. Right now, I'm all about rest up. Yeah. Hopefully, Boone Jenner enjoys his time at the All-Star game and that he's ready to strap up for the league.
What's with the Boone Jenner thing? Where did that come from?
I thought it came from Kipper.
I don't think so. No, I don't know. Kipper, maybe he mentioned it. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought it was a Kipper.
I talk to him every day. I don't remember that.
I know. I'm just saying. I thought it was Kip that dropped that one. But either way, the other thing is, they're just placeholders for, to me, Boone Jenner and Corey Perry. Eventually, those guys come in and they settle out the depth forwards for this hockey team. I'm with you, but I really liked them tonight. I felt like they all played with force. Like McMahon had a real presence to him tonight. Gregor had one. It felt like Keefe was trusting them a little bit more, giving them a bit more ice time than you would have expected. And like, I know that these guys probably only played like 10, 11 minutes. Let me just go check the ice time. Actually, no, it checks out. They did. They played him. He played him a lot. Especially considering it's a closely checked game. Camp hit 13 minutes. McMahon hit 10, which is for him in a 3-3 hockey game. Good. That's a lot. Like that's a lot of ice time. Holmberg, same thing, almost 10 minutes, which is nice for him. Thought again, he had a really solid game. And then Gregor, 11:34.
None of the core four over 20 in a one goal game is pretty good for old.
But I think it was the right call. Like I don't think that they left anything on the table. I agree with you. I didn't really like the second line tonight for the Leafs. I thought that this was one where Nylander didn't have his best effort. I didn't really notice Tavares too much. And frankly, my only observation with Bertuzzi tonight is just a little bit of, I mentioned he's a good playmaker. He came in here as an underrated playmaker, and I like that about his game, and it suits that line and it suits those players. But man, sometimes just rip it. Like sometimes just put it on the net.
Yeah, I really do like Bertuzzi's game.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good contributor. But at some point, man, you're making $5.5 million here. You got to fire a few in the net.
Like, he and Domi have the exact same thing where it's just, I get it. You want to be unselfish. I get you're trying to defer. I get you're a playmaker, but sometimes when you're 5 feet from the net and you got a clean look, just be an NHL player and shoot it in the net. Yeah. Bertuzzi with 6 goals in 39 games now. I got to say, it's a pretty disappointing number for that player.
It's not enough. Yeah. I don't even know. I'm the worst guy ever for on pace, but is that on pace for 20 goals?
No, it's not.
So there you go.
You really are the worst for that.
That's on pace for 12, like close to like 13. Yeah, I'm dumb. That's why I'm doing this. Well,
your mom, the teacher right now, is watching this. Like, Sam,
Domi's a way better passer than Bertuzzi is, though. Like, there's no comparison. There's no comparison between those two. Like,
I'm just saying they're both good playmakers.
Yeah, but Domi is much better at playmaking than Bertuzzi. I think Bertuzzi's game is more like the puck pursuit, hard on sticks, getting the puck into a good area kind of guy. And I would like to see him get it into the really good area a few more times here behind the goal line. Would be good.
Anything major for you, or time for rapid fire?
I don't know if this is constitutes as rapid fire or not, but just wanted to talk with the crowd a little bit there.
Buddy, I have that as my first rapid fire note.
Okay, they suck. So I thought that this was a really big deal for them. And, Tavares, I guess it's the second time that he came back. But like, why is there no one there? It's a Thursday night. They were quite like the boos were half-assed tonight. They were not wholehearted. I thought that they had a couple Let's Go Islander chants or whatever. But, for this vaunted crowd where you're terrified and Tavares is getting booed, it was like dressed like a seat night. There was no one there. It was just like a dead crowd. So tough showing from UBS tonight. I was surprised by that because usually it's like a rocking building.
Last year we got on Levitard because their Panthers fan was discussing our show and we triggered him by making fun of their fans. And
mine that was way worse. I would say they didn't deserve it.
No, but this, I would say that these guys, they have a chip on their shoulder. If it makes it their way, they probably end up doing this. But yeah, that was a pathetic performance from their crowd. We're from Toronto, okay? We know about bad crowds.
Us saying that is bad for you.
Us saying your crowd was pathetic and that your fans are fraudulent. Like tickets there, here we got an excuse. Tickets are expensive. It costs you. You got a family, you want to go to a hockey game? Good luck. You got to take out a second mortgage. That's
legitimately like a $1,200 night.
Yeah, no, it's ludicrous. It's truly unfair. We need to figure out a better way. There has to be a better way. We should have let Balsillie put the team in Hamilton, for God's sake, so that some people in the GTA could actually reasonably afford to go to a hockey game.
Oh, you would be that. You'd be a diehard Hammer fan, guaranteed by now.
No, I could.
Oh
never.
yeah.
But you know me. How many times have I fake quit being a Leafs fan in the text messages, only to be the number one
every
guy
single night?
I was gonna say only to be the number one guy who gets the most mad when they drop a regular season point.
No way, Jobo.
Yeah,
17,000.
Well, guess what? It was what, like, what are the people the cigarette smokers that got to use the the box? It was a night for those guys because they weren't making a lot of noise. Anyway, yeah, I think that number's pretty inflated. They maybe sold those
lower
tickets.
bowl was half empty.
Yeah, there was a lot of empty seats. But yeah, I don't know. It could have been that number because what's the capacity in that arena? It's in the 20s. So yeah,
I don't know. I looked like
18.5. No, yeah. Well, then guess what? Then that number's not true because they didn't have that. Yeah, they didn't have that number. That was a big time lie. It's like that's a lie. Yeah, it was quiet. They're a bit of a fraudulent fan base, I got to say. It's like they act all tough. They're like, well, this is our spot, and this we get after Tavares, and then you went, oh, Tavares is in town. You went, I don't know, I'm sleepy. So. Yeah, no respect for them. I've never really.
Oh boy, we're done.
Yeah. Sure. I just never. It's a fraudulent fan base. Like, what did you know about Islanders fans before Tavares left?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, dude. Their identity is Tavares left us.
That actually did become their identity.
Yeah, like, that's their identity. It's like
it
cool.
is.
Yeah.
Well, they're really hard on Johnny T.
Yeah. 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 Nothing before then. They were the team that had Tavares, and then they were the team that Tavares left, and that's all they are since Trache, who's in the building tonight. So yeah. I don't really want to hear it from them. Other rapid fire topics.
Oh, we're gonna. I feel like.
What?
I feel like we might.
Yeah, whatever. I don't give a crap. Ooh, what are they gonna do? Tweet? Ooh, not a tweet. Nah, you know what? I don't really have too much else after this because we talked about the fourth line. Oh, actually, I did want to say that, man, Barzal. This is one for the Islanders fans. Awesome vision from Barzal tonight. He was just nasty with the puck on his stick. He's a scary, scary player.
A couple guys on their team that really jumped out to me. Guy that's really improved is that Dobson. He is awesome. Like he gave up the puck, obviously on the Matthews second one.
Yeah, but Romanov too.
But yeah, that was a nice shot by him. I don't think he usually has that one. I don't think he usually has that one in the bag, but to me, Dobson really jumped out. Just his vision, the shots from the point, a couple of them led to goals. I really liked his game tonight. I thought he really jumped off the page. And on the other side of it, old Pierre. What a Pierre night. Like, noticed him one time.
Guess what? Noticed him because of his long neck. I was like, look at that long
They gave him 8
neck.
years.
Yeah. Enjoy
8
him.
years.
Yeah.
How many minutes did he play tonight?
I don't know. Probably more than you'd think, but
yeah, that's 15. That's the classic Engvall.
Yeah.
Played 15, and I legitimately noticed him one time.
Yeah. Imagine being our buddy Kevin Papetti, who went to the wall for Engvall for 5 years.
He was -1 in a 4-3 win.
Yeah, like imagine there was how many people were like, I am an Engvall truther. I'm gonna go to the wall for this player. Like the amount of people when he got traded that had, can you believe Kyle did this and betrayed us? Tweets. It just, yeah.
Well, it's very true though. He was like synonymous with Kyle Dubas hockey. He was synonymous with Kyle Dubas hockey.
Really was.
And then like when Kyle went rogue last year at the deadline, everyone was just so offended. They're like, Shen, Achari.
Yeah.
What about our sweet boys Sandin and Engvall?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I should have written it down, but it felt like a cheap shot. But I had the same thought. There was one moment in the ozone where he touched the puck for a split second, and I went, "All right, Engvall, I don't think about you ever." And you're not the one that got away, pal.
Oh, I had one other thing I wanted to mention.
Cool. Let's
at the end of the third period, with about 2 minutes left, there was a controversial icing where everybody was chasing towards the end, and the 10 people that were at the building booed. And then it just brought me back to my youth. Touch icing was the most electrifying thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like people, like kids these days don't know how sick touch icing was.
Well,
and people got so hurt all the time because of it.
Buddy, that was Coach's Corner for 5 years. It's just great. More. grapes just
my whole life.
Yeah,
Until they changed
my entire childhood was keep your head up and keep your stick on the ice and we got to get rid of touch icing.
Well,
it
was legit. Think about what touch icing was.
Yeah.
It was two guys barreling full
Yeah.
speed towards the end boards to touch a puck.
Dude,
But
honestly,
God,
it's
it
like,
was exciting. It was so exciting.
You know how it feels when you watch Johnny Bauer make saves with his face, no mask? That's how touch icing highlights look now. Is the exact same. Can you believe that we did this for this long? They're the same.
100%. But I just remember that from being a kid and just being like two guys barreling and being, is it gonna happen here? Being scared.
Got a battle. Anyway, all right. We're gonna go. We'll see you Saturday and Sunday again. Like
7-day work week for the boys this week.
Yeah, a 7-day work week for the fellas. So the least you could do is leave 5 stars on iTunes or on Spotify. The least you could do is share this podcast with your friends and your family members. Bang a little retweet. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus, at Sammy McKee. One of those two places. Reach out whenever. And the people want to know, will we ever wear matching outfits again? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cute. It's pretty cute.
I don't know. Oh, black shirts and glasses. First thing that's ever happened.
Yes. My shirt's navy. It just looks blue on there. All right. So that's it.
Whatever.
You're representing the company. You got the Sportsnet.
It's a really nice sweater. I wear it a lot. It's really nice. It's just comfy and it fits. Buddy, I just went by the right desk at the right time one day.
No, this
and
is your
I just
whole
got
life,
hooked up.
Honestly, if I was like, if tomorrow, you tragically pass and I had to speak at your funeral and they were like, tell us about Sam, I would have to be like, no one got more free stuff I've ever met in my entire life. That'd be like graph 2 in your eulogy. I'd be like, you have no idea the free amount of things this guy had. And then probably a lot of people in attendance would be like, I gave him something for free.
Hey, buddy. Yeah. You just, when you just, people want to give me stuff. What can I say?
Buddy, no, you're
shamelessness will get you everywhere.
I was going to say, everyone's just constantly reaching out to you. It's not you. It's not you constantly badgering everyone. Can I have that? That's
the only real gift I got for Christmas this year was from my home course in Old Sound.
Yeah. Amazing.
They gave me a wrapped gift under my tree of amazing swag. Thanks,
lovely
Legacy.
stuff.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Absolute lovely stuff. Anyways, we appreciate all the people that watch. We appreciate all the people that listen. So do us a favor and bang the thumbs up on YouTube, share it on Twitter and Instagram, follow us there, and then we will see you Saturday night. Can't wait.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck. .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name. 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green and Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finish.
On Hibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk. Analysis, PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, January the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the San Jose Sharks. Canadiens on XM223 Internet 935, Sharks on Internet 943. 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Vancouver Canucks. Penguins on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 942, Canucks on Internet 948. 7 p.m., Tampa Bay Lightning face the New Jersey Devils. Lightning on XM 207, Internet 946. Devils on Internet 937. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals take on the Seattle Kraken. Capitals on XM 206, Internet 950. Kraken on Internet 944. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings face the Edmonton Oilers. Red Wings on Sirius 210, XM 221 and Internet 930. Oilers on Internet 931. 7 p.m., Florida Panthers take on the LA Kings. Panthers on Sirius 211, XM 222 and Internet 932. Kings on Internet 933. 7 p.m., New York Islanders face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Islanders on XM 205, Internet 938. Maple Leafs on Internet 947. 7 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes face the Anaheim Ducks. Hurricanes on Sirius 209, XM 220 and Internet 925. Ducks on Internet 920. 8 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the New York Rangers. Blues on XM 204, Internet 945. Rangers on Internet 939. 9 p.m., Arizona Coyotes take on the Calgary Flames. Coyotes on XM 203, Internet 921. Flames on Internet 924. 10 p.m., Vegas Golden Knights face the Boston Bruins. Golden Knights on Sirius XM Channels 91, Internet 949. Bruins on Internet 922. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, January the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the San Jose Sharks. Canadiens on XM 223, Internet 935. Sharks on Internet 943. 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Vancouver Canucks. Penguins on Sirius XM Channels 91, Internet 942. Canucks on Internet 948.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
Always a great topic of debate, and with Minnesota Wild goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury about to move into second place alone on the all-time NHL goaltender wins list, regular NHL Network radio contributors Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick are on their 32 Thoughts podcast on Sportsnet.ca, sharing some thoughts on unbreakable records for NHL goaltenders and why, particularly in the current era, those records are even more untouchable than in previous times.
One thing I was looking at in the NHL history is goalies playing 1,000 games. And maybe we shouldn't be surprised about this because we've gone from an era where, the Brodeurs played 65 to 70 games a year. And now look where we're going. You look at the list, I don't know if we're going to see another goalie do this. Jonathan Quick needs 233 more games for 1,000. Now, Jonathan Quick takes things very personally. I'm sorry, but I don't think he's going to get there. Ducking, because, I love Quick, but he's got a big chip on his shoulder. Yeah. When he hears this, he's going to be coming at me. Sergei Bobrovsky needs 328 games. What is that now? That's 7 seasons, maybe. The one guy who jumped into my head was Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky is at 443. And he's going to be and he's going to be 30 this year. He's an interesting one. Connor Hellebuck is at 473, and he just turned 30. But those guys, we're talking 500 plus games for them as they get older. But other than that, Jeff, the 1,000 game goalie, we're not going to see one for a long time. If ever.
I say this remembering that when I was a kid, 103 career shutouts, which was held by Terry Sawchuk, seemed unattainable.
Yeah.
That has been blasted. But the one thing that I am very confident in saying I can't see this record broken, and it speaks to what you're talking about with the 1,000 games.
Is Glenn Hall?
For netminders. No is the all-time wins by a goaltender, Martin Brodeur. Is anyone going to touch 691?
Look, I think the most unbreakable record in sports is Glenn Hall, 502 consecutive starts in a row. That is the most ironclad record, not only in hockey, but in sports. Mm-hmm. So don't bring me wins. Wins are immaterial. I'm talking about start.
Yes, that one no one is going to touch. Park that. But it was a much, and actually it's even longer if you factor in his AHL streak as well. But yes, to your point, that NHL streak is not going to get touched. But no, like, who's touching 691 wins?
Nah, I'm with you.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, January the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the San Jose Sharks. Canadiens on XM223 Internet 935, Sharks on Internet 943. 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Vancouver Canucks. Penguins on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 942, Canucks on Internet 948. 7 p.m., Tampa Bay Lightning face the New Jersey Devils. Lightning on XM207 Internet 946, Devils on Internet 937. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals take on the Seattle Kraken. Capitals on XM206 Internet 950, Kraken on Internet 944. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings face the Edmonton Oilers. Red Wings on Sirius 210, XM221 and Internet 930, Oilers on Internet 931. 7 p.m., Florida Panthers take on the LA Kings. Panthers on Sirius 211, XM222 and Internet 932, Kings on Internet 933. 7 p.m., New York Islanders face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Islanders on XM205 Internet 938, Maple Leafs on Internet 947. 7 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes face the Anaheim Ducks. Hurricanes on Sirius 209, XM220 and Internet 925. Ducks on Internet 920. 8 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the New York Rangers. Blues on XM204, Internet 945. Rangers on Internet 939. 9 p.m., Arizona Coyotes take on the Calgary Flames. Coyotes on XM203, Internet 921. Flames on Internet 924. 10 p.m., Vegas Golden Knights face the Boston Bruins. Golden Knights on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 949. Bruins on Internet 922. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, January the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the San Jose Sharks. Canadiens on XM223 Internet 935, Sharks on Internet 943. 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Vancouver Canucks. Penguins on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 942, Canucks on Internet 948.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
On their Ray and Dregs podcast, NHL insiders Ray Ferraro and Darren Dreger go over the recent trade between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Anaheim Ducks. The Flyers dealt blue-chip forward prospect Cutter Gauthier, who had made it clear he didn't want to play in Philly, to the Ducks in return for talented fourth-year defenseman Jamie Drysdale, who had just returned to the lineup after being out 2 months with a lower body injury.
Right. We don't often see players of this stature. Now, we don't know what they're going to be yet as NHL players. Players of this stature traded in a transaction like this.
Well, the uniqueness, of course, is that Gauthier didn't want to go to Philadelphia, and there gets to be a point where, you know, Danny Briere and the Flyers and Keith Jones, and they're in a dead end, and they're like, okay, well, they're not even returning calls, which I find rather almost amateurish. If that's indeed the story, that why wouldn't you at least return a call and say, yeah, guess what, I'm not coming. I mean, Briere and Jones flew over to Sweden to try and talk to him and didn't get a chance to talk to him. It's a long way to go for a trip to IKEA, and they get nothing out of it. So now they've got to pivot and they've got to make this deal. And Gauthier is a really highly touted player. He's a significant asset for Anaheim to acquire and for Philly to trade. So that's going to bring back plenty. And Drysdale's coming off a shoulder surgery. He had hurt early in the year, some kind of lower body deal, but they get a second round pick, as well. But the real chip for Philly is Drysdale. And aside from this deal too, the next part of it is they've got a couple of free agent defensemen in Philadelphia in Sean Walker and Nick Seeler, and certainly that would give them runway to move one of those guys or both if they want to, because you've got Drysdale in now. And pretty interesting, though, like a kid just saying, nope, not for me, and that pushes the envelope to a point where they got to do something.
John Tortorella was asked post-game last night about this trade, and not unusual for Torts to display a level of disdain. And, it's not personal with Cutter Gauthier not wanting to sign or stay in Philadelphia, or it really shouldn't be. I mean, they've used him as an asset or a commodity to bring a real good piece in Jamie Drysdale back. But here was the response from John Tortorella after the game in being questioned on Cutter Gauthier.
Then we don't want you.
I believe you've met Cutter Gauthier before. Were you surprised that he...
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall, and I'm not too interested in talking about him. I'd rather talk about Jamie. He's the guy that's coming here.
Isn't that vintage Torts right there, right?
It is, and the fact of the matter is the players in the Flyers room don't know Cutter Gauthier. They, quite frankly, they don't care about him and his wants or doesn't want, I guess, in this case, because they're worried about their team. They're worried about how soon can Drysdale get here? When can he get in the lineup?
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, January the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the San Jose Sharks. Canadiens on XM223 Internet 935, Sharks on Internet 943. 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Vancouver Canucks. Penguins on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 942, Canucks on Internet 948. 7 p.m., Tampa Bay Lightning face the New Jersey Devils. Lightning on XM207 Internet 946, Devils on Internet 937. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals take on the Seattle Kraken. Capitals on XM206 Internet 950, Kraken on Internet 944. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings face the Edmonton Oilers. Red Wings on Sirius 210, XM221 and Internet 930, Oilers on Internet 931. 7 p.m., Florida Panthers take on the LA Kings. Panthers on Sirius 211, XM222 and Internet 932, Kings on Internet 933. 7 p.m., New York Islanders face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Islanders on XM205 Internet 938, Maple Leafs on Internet 947. 7 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes face the Anaheim Ducks. Hurricanes on Sirius 209, XM220 and Internet 925, Ducks on Internet 920. 8 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the New York Rangers. Blues on XM204, Internet 945, Rangers on Internet 939. 9 p.m., Arizona Coyotes take on the Calgary Flames. Coyotes on XM203, Internet 921, Flames on Internet 924. 10 p.m., Vegas Golden Knights face the Boston Bruins. Golden Knights on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 949, Bruins on Internet 922. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, January the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the San Jose Sharks. Canadiens on XM223 Internet 935, Sharks on Internet 943. 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the